All right, I think we are finally live. What is going on, everybody? This is Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, and we got a brand new Xbox 2 podcast. A lot of things to talk about, but of course, I couldn't do this without my co-host, Jez Corden of Windows Central. What is going on, buddy? How you doing?
Hey, man. I'm back. I'm 100% now. I'm cured by the good graces of everyone being nice to me. So thanks, everyone, for the support. It's nice to feel healthy again. But now the health problems have transferred to you, haven't they?
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, it's like, so I went on, I don't know, I wanted to get a little bit more healthy, so kind of been on a diet, eating good stuff. And then one of the things I kind of, have a problem with is I drink a lot of pop, which isn't good for you. And
No.
I cut out pop completely. Yeah, I've been drinking like flavored water. I got some Propel, which a buddy of mine told me to drink, and I actually really like it. But I woke up 2 days ago and I could barely move. My back was killing me. It was completely stiff. And I was just like, man, isn't this some crap, right? Like, I sit here and I'm like, I'm trying to get healthy, trying to lose, some weight and stuff, and now I can barely even move, and it's bad. It's pretty bad, and I don't know. Like, my buddy Loveboat Gopher was just like, he's like, well, that's just your body, craving caffeine, and I was like, what? And then I looked, and it's like, yeah, caffeine withdrawal. Essentially, one of the side effects is unfortunately, back pain. So, yeah, I got to go through that. I don't know, maybe I should actually go back and maybe drink some pop. I know I say pop, people say soda. I'm from Chicago, and in the Midwest we say pop. So
You say pop in Chicago? You say pop in England?
It's pop.
We say pop in England and not soda. So I'm hyped now that somewhere other than England says pop. What do they say in Australia?
I don't know.
Is
what
there anyone
they
in
say.
chat in Canada?
I don't know what they
Canadians,
say.
Australians in chat. Let us know let us know what you call soda. Is it soda or pop? This is important information that we all must hear.
Like, I thought I would get a caffeine, like I would get a really, really bad headache, but no headache, just severe back pain, and it sucks, man. Like, it really is tough to like walk around, and I feel like an old man at this point. Like, and I was telling Jazz, like,
Man.
I don't want to live like this. If this doesn't go away, I'm done. Like,
Nah. Yeah, it'll go away. Like, I had severe back pain one time. Do you remember one time I did the podcast and I'd come back next week and said that the podcast injured me?
oh yeah, I remember that.
Just because like I'd been podcasting, I'd gotten drunk or something and didn't notice because I was drunk that I was sitting in a strange position, and then like I was in agony for 2 days just because I was just in the weird position for a while. I think that ultimately, Rand, the reality is we're getting old, man. We're getting old.
Yeah, we are getting old. I just don't like feeling like this, So, yeah. Shout out to we got a new member of the channel, Spider-Man 356. Appreciate the support. Gallo Gonzalez says, Rand, hope you feel good. Xbox Series X is Top Gun. Hopefully I feel good. Sin Vendetta says, so was Phil Spencer talking about second and third party games only? Do you think he was putting first party interview too easy to take his words out of context? We'll talk about that a little bit later. It is a topic. And Adam says, hey, also doing the weight loss thing, the best thing for you to have is unsweetened tea. It helps caffeine fix but keeps you on a diet. Yeah, I'm drinking right now Propel. We got some kiwi strawberry, and I got some watermelon and some mandarin orange. I really like it. And just trying to get better, just trying to get a little more healthy. And my body betrays me. My body betrays me, Jazz.
Do you want to try and get have more healthy together? Should we like compare weights?
Yeah.
And try and lose some weight. Yeah, let's do it, man. I need a weight loss, buddy.
All right.
We can both get thin and sexy, like Henry Cavill.
Did you see that? Oh man, Henry Cavill building the PC. Jesus.
The internet went crazy.
I know, right? Woo.
Yeah. Woo.
Viper XT says from Canada, and I call it pop. I know there's some people call it Coke. I saw someone says they call it Coke in Atlanta. Some people call it, like, I call it pop. This is what I've always called it here in the Midwest. I know people, like, get on me for it, but whatever. It's kind of weird. We start off the podcast talking about dieting and weight loss and back pain and stuff and what you guys are drinking, but hey, it's our show. We'll talk about whatever the goddamn we want to talk about. If that's Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo, we'll talk about it. If that's whatever, we'll talk about it because it's our show. So,
hell yeah.
Yeah, thanks everybody for being here, though. Make sure you guys hit the like button if you're enjoying the show, and that share button, hit that out so other people can know that we're live, because YouTube usually does a piss poor job of notifying, people, subscribers, everybody that that the podcast is, of course, live. We got a lot to talk about. This is the last show before the Xbox Game Showcase on Thursday, so we're going to give some of our predictions. We'll also talk about a lot of the things that has been going on last couple days, like xCloud and Game Pass, my reaction to Ubisoft putting Sam Fisher in a cell phone game again, which Jez trolled me about nonstop on social media.
Love it.
Yeah, there's the Xbox One X being discontinued. Like, who's been saying that for over a year now? Huh? It's amazing. It's amazing when you just kind of apply logic to certain things, you can see exactly what is going to happen. It's very, very interesting. A lot of stuff here to talk about, but as always, we got to talk about some games. Jess Corden, you said you've been playing a lot. So,
I have. I've been playing a lot of games, making up for the weeks that I was too ill to get out of bed. I've been playing Carry On, which I can't really talk about because it's under embargo for review. It comes out next week on Xbox Game Pass for PC and console, I believe. So, like, for those who don't know, Carry On is like, they call it a reverse horror game. You play as the monster. It's like a side-scrolling Metroidvania monster simulator. It's, I can't talk about it too much or give a final verdict, but so far it's just hilarious. It's kind of like what I wanted out of Maneater. Just going around murdering scientists with big tentacles and chomping down on them. Super satisfying. Really cool engine. The way it all works and stuff. Quite impressed with it so far. But final review will be next week for that. So there's just a little sneak peek.
The game does look pretty cool. I watched some gameplay of it. It's just like you're just a monster just killing people. It seems pretty interesting. It has puzzles too. Like you have to figure out how to get through the environments and squeeze through vents and stuff like that. They're quite difficult battles in it as well. Like you come across mechs and you have to rip them apart piece by piece, and they will kill you incredibly fast if you aren't careful. So there is a thoughtfulness about it, which is cool. I appreciate that. I'll talk about it more next week, probably after the embargo lifts. But other than that, I've been playing some Overwatch again. There's a new challenge for Overwatch: win 9 matches and you get skin. It's the first time I've seen them do that. I don't know if that's something they've done before, but like the whole battle pass thing where you have to achieve certain goals, and then you get a reward that's only available during that challenge. I noticed more and more games are doing that now. Pretty clever, I guess. The whole battle pass thing. Right.
So first time I've actually bothered participating in one. I've been playing a bit of Overwatch. I've also been playing Rocket Arena. I don't know if you saw this game.
That's the 3v3 game that EA showed off at EA Play that was published by Nexon, but now is published by EA. Was free to play, but is now $30 premium. Is it any good?
It's pretty good, Of course, I think it would have worked better as a free to play game because it's not what I call amazing, and I don't know if I want to pay $30 for it. So I think it might have worked better as a free to play game. It's pretty janky on the Xbox One S. Of course, I'm playing on Xbox One S right now because my ex is in Germany. So it's pretty janky and crashy on the Xbox One S, which is probably affecting my view of it a little bit. But it's pretty fun. Conceptually, it kind of reminds me of a cross between a 3D Super Smash Brothers, where you have to knock opponents out of the arena. And like everyone's got like there's like classes and they got all different kinds of rocket abilities, and you basically nobody's got health. What you're trying to do is weaken people so you can knock them out of the arena, like Smash Bros. So it's pretty cool in that context, but as I say, it's pretty janky as well. So I don't know what point. I don't know how much I'll play it beyond that. And the fact that it's $30 makes me think that it probably won't do so well. I think if it was free to play, I think if it was free to play, it would find its audience much more easily. But it's not bad. It's not amazing though. I guess is my takeaway here. And like I said, I went straight back to Overwatch afterwards. You know, if I want to shoot rockets, I'll just play Pharaoh or something with a much better engine. Oh yeah, and it crashed like 3 times on me in like 30 minutes, which ain't great. And the resolution is shocking. Like the font, like it doesn't feel like it's been tested on the 1S. Like the fonts are just shrunk and you can't read what they say. So yeah, that's Rocket Arena. And that's pretty much most the newish things I've been playing.
Well, the Rocket Arena thing is interesting because I was kind of, I would have got it if my friends were going to get it, but none of them really wanted to. So I was like, all right, well, that's $30 save because it's an online-only game. I'm not going to get it myself and play it with random people. So $30 saved there. Gotta give a shout out to Viper XT. He also became the newest member. We have Colt Eastwood making some emotes and some badges, so that will be implemented soon. I think Colt's on vacation right now. Shout out to Colt. I know he's probably having a good time with Copper and Loki. And Beaner8127 says he's on his poop break, Jez, but he wanted to show his support. Hello from the crapper. Hashtag Rand is always right. Well, thanks for the support. Even from the crapper. Yeah, so what did I play? I played more of The Messenger. I really still recommend that game. Although it does get to a point, Jez, where like in the beginning of the game, it is very much laser linear, right? It's a 2D side scroller. It's really good, man. Like I really hope you do try it out at some point. And then you reach a point where you kind of flip between 8-bit graphics and 16-bit graphics, where they kind of like say, oh, you're traveling from the past to the future, right? And then suddenly this previously linear game suddenly becomes open world. And now you kind of got a Metroidvania and go back and collect things that continue on. And at first, I was like, you know what? I'm not digging that. Like, I was really enjoying the kind of linear approach that they were building, and then they hit you up with the open world expansion of the game, and I was sitting there, I was like, yeah, I'm not really digging, like, I don't want to go do this stuff, but I kept on going, and it was like, you know what, this is still pretty goddamn awesome. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not finished with it yet, but I know there is a debate, as One Bad Mother says in the chat, the first half of Messenger is better than the second. And a lot of people do kind of either fall off at the second half. Like, they just kind of don't like that open world part. Like Miles, your buddy Miles from Windows Central, he said once he hit the Metroidvania part, he put the game down. So it's one of those things where it's like, people seem to really, really dig that first section where it's really linear, and then as soon as it becomes Metroidvania open world, you got to solve riddles to find out where you go, which is the other part I don't like. Like, oh, they want you to like solve these riddles to figure out where to go, and it's like, yeah, you could pay money to get the answers, but I understand why some people dropped it, but I thought about dropping it. I kept on playing. I'm still really loving the game because it's really, really, really good. And I was really really wanting to play Ghost of Tsushima last night. Like, I pre-ordered it, and all of a sudden my sister was like, "Hey, it's movie night," and I'm like, "Oh God, it's movie night." So yeah.
What did you watch?
She wanted to watch Parasite. So
was it any good?
Well, I've seen Parasite twice, so we watched it, and she loved it. She said definitely deserved Best Picture, and by the time it was over, it was like, should I go back home and watch, start up Ghost of Tsushima? And I did, but like then it was like I don't even want to go and I just want to go lay down. My back's killing me. So I didn't even get to play Ghost of Tsushima last night, which is okay. We'll have a more full, in-depth kind of my thoughts on Ghost of Tsushima next week because, we got a long week ahead of us. A long, great week, though, because it's the lead up to the Xbox Game Showcase on Thursday. So we'll be doing... Do you want to do the podcast? I was going to ask you this. Do you want to do the podcast on Thursday, regular time, or just wait for regular day on Friday? You're probably going to be busy. Thursday. You're going to be busy on Thursday, right? I assume so.
I'm down to do it on Thursday.
You want to do it on Thursday?
We can do a special... It's a special time, right? Well, actually...
I figured maybe you'd be busy, I think, with stuff,
Hang on. What time is the show and what time is the podcast?
Well, the show is at 11 a.m. my time. It's 1 hour, so that would be about noon. We would do the show about 3 hours later at 3 o'clock.
Oh, that's fine. We can do it, man. I'll have finished all the work by then.
So I guess we'll do the show Thursday that day. So you'll get to hear our thoughts that day instead of waiting until Friday. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I guess it's time to transition to the topics since it's all the game stuff is gone. So if you guys are enjoying the show, make sure you hit the like button. We already have over 1,000 people watching, almost 1,100. We appreciate that. That's pretty goddamn amazing. So hit the share button, subscribe button, all that good stuff. And you know what? Let's start off with Ubisoft because it was the thing that happened on Sunday, and we're gonna start small here. We're gonna work our way up. But goddamn, did this piss me off, Jez? It really did. It really, really did. And you know what? It wouldn't have been so bad if you didn't just grind it even further. So
rub the salt in the wound.
You did. You rubbed the salt in the wound. Man. Ubisoft Forward was on Sunday, and it wasn't very good. Did you watch it at all, Jez? I mean, did you kind of check it out a little bit?
Nah. I think it was either on at a weird time for me, or I just know from the history of Ubisoft events not to bother watching it. Let's be honest. But
yeah.
The stuff that they showed, I thought was cool. Like Assassin's Creed Valhalla is awesome. Watch Dogs Legion looks awesome. Far Cry looks awesome, but there was no sort of big surprises, really, was there? I think.
No, not really. I mean, yeah. So there's the thing. There wasn't any really real surprises, and sure, Far Cry 6 is probably the highlight. I forget the guy's name, but he's in Breaking Bad. It's gonna be a great villain. There's some rumors surrounding it that it's actually a prequel because if you compare Vaz to the young kid, they both have the same scar over their eye. So a lot of people are theorizing that this is a prequel to Far Cry 3, and it's like Vaz is a kid, which would be pretty interesting. But of course, with a lot of these Ubisoft games, people are getting a little burnt out on Ubisoft games, and I love Far Cry. I love Far Cry 3. I really enjoyed 4. I adored Far Cry 5, but I did not like Far Cry New Dawn. Ubisoft is basically putting all the elements of every single one of their games into every single one of their games, and they don't feel any different. And I'm just kind of
honestly, I feel like we have this. I'm tired of Ubisoft games every year.
But Ghost Recon, same thing. Wildlands was cool, but then Ghost Recon Breakpoint came out, and it was just an amalgamation of everything that Ubisoft does, and it wasn't very good. This Assassin's Creed Odyssey was great, but I don't need loot, tiered loot and all that stuff in all my Ubisoft games. Ghost Recon doesn't need it. Far Cry doesn't need it. Why are you putting it in there? But either way, Far Cry 6, we don't know what the gameplay is going to look like, although we can imagine. Watch Dogs Legions looks interesting. It'd be curious to see how much difference there is when you play through with different characters. I really like that John Wick character that they showed in the trailer. And Assassin's Creed Valhalla looks exactly kind of what I thought it was going to look like. I mean, it's Odyssey, but Viking setting. So the problem, though, unfortunately, is what are you going to play? Because it comes out 2 days before Cyberpunk, right? So are you going to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla or Cyberpunk? And there's also the chance that maybe Series X launches that week, and if it does, well then Halo Infinite's that week. So I mean, I don't know about you, but I'll be playing Cyberpunk 2077 over Valhalla. And you posted it on Twitter. You were like, hey, what am I going to cover? Assassin's Creed Valhalla or Cyberpunk? 2 days isn't really enough. Although you'll get them both early for review. You don't even matter. Whatever, Jez.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
You don't have to, make these choices like the rest of us do,
Oh, come on. First of all, you console share with someone and you'll buy one game each. Second of all, I don't know if I'll get them early because a lot of people want them early. And we're not the biggest outlet in the world. But I don't know. I kind of feel like with Cyberpunk, I know it's going to be great and stuff like that. And I feel like it's something I could come back to later and enjoy. And also, I feel like everyone on Earth is going to cover Cyberpunk. So I'm thinking, like, maybe I cover Valhalla instead.
Mr. LeBlanc says, how many games are we going to see during Thursday's Filmic Hour? Thanks for the great content, guys. Keep up the great work. Cheers. How many games will we see, Jez? If you have any spitball in here. I mean, they showed 13 at the May event. Sony showed off 26 games at their June event and a console reveal. So you spitball in here. They show more than 13, less than 26. Kind of, they show maybe 20. I don't know. I mean, there's supposed to be some demos. We'll talk a little bit more later about our predictions for the show. Commander Shepard says, Rand and J-Dog. Oh, you're J-Dog now, Jez. Did either of you pre-order Valhalla? I tried, but collector's edition sold out quick. No, I don't pre-order games until a couple days before. I mean, I'm all digital, so there's no, you can pre-order whenever. There's no, hey, there are only a couple of these, you need to pre-order now. And I'm not the type of person who needs to get collector's editions like my buddy Gopher, who needs to get the statue. Like, if there's a game that comes out and has a statue, he needs to have that, Jez. Whether it's like $300 or whatever. And I understand, hey, that is up for pre-order. They only make a couple thousand. You need to get in on it. But I'm all digital, so it's to me, I'm not going to bother pre-ordering Valhalla until, a couple days before the game comes out, so I can, pre-download it, have it ready when it unlocks at the right time.
I just ain't got the space. Where do you put all the collector's editions? I literally don't have the space.
I've seen his picture. He's got a huge shelf on his wall that goes from the ceiling to the floor with all the kind of squares in between with with each one of his little dolls. He hates it when I call them dolls. Hopefully he's listening. He probably isn't though. Shout out to Xbot448 Battletoads. I think there's a good chance you'll be playing Battletoads on the 23rd. By the way.
Really?
I think it's going to be shadow dropped.
They do it an instant shadow drop.
Yeah, I think it's going to be shadow dropped. It was rated in Brazil last week. So I would not be surprised if it's Battletoads. Hey, you know what? We're tired about you hearing about Battletoads. We're tired of talking about Battletoads. Blah blah blah. It's out now. Go play it. Whatever. Type of thing. You can go play Battletoads right now. I wouldn't be surprised if it's shadow dropped. A lot of people were hoping that they'd remaster it, change the graphics after Streets of Rage did so well. Yeah, I mean, maybe they did. We'll have to wait and see. We haven't seen it in a while. Aragorn, your court. I know Aragorn's from Lord of the Rings. I'm not sure how to say the last name. But thank you for the support. He says, a huge thank you from New Zealand. I'm a PC gamer, but never miss an episode. I love that you keep it real and positive. Thumbs up. Thank you, man. That's what we try to do here. No damage control. We just give our straight opinions about stuff. We're Xbox primary gamers, but I play in PlayStation. I don't care about Nintendo, but Jez does. And I played my first PC game the other day, which was Hyperscape, and I played it with the controller.
Your first PC game?
Well, I mean, not necessarily the first. I've played a bunch of PC games in the past, like Half-Life and all those other games and stuff. I'm talking on my rig I built. Well, I didn't build this, but I bought this. I played Hyperscape, and I played it with a controller. What? Sue me. I played a PC game with a controller. Yeah, I played it with a controller. Hell yeah, I'm not playing with keyboard and mouse.
My god, that's sacrilegious.
I cannot move around with keyboard and mouse. I don't it's been so long since
you get used to it, man. You get used to it.
You know what I'm used to? The Xbox controller. You know what we did? We dominated. Okay.
You dominated PC players.
Dude, my buddy, Mr. Black Magic, who works at Xbox, was 20 kills almost all the time. We won so many games. He even killed Tfue, one of the most popular streamers in the world, sniped him right in the face, and Tfue even like clipped it, and said like, "Fucking Mr. Black Magic," like he was pissed, and Magic did that shit on a controller.
Fair enough.
Didn't even do it on keyboard and mouse.
Well, that's the thing. Like, people from Microsoft always say to me that they've got data that it only provides players with around a 2% advantage. I have no idea how they work that out, but if they've got the data, fair enough, But I do get salty when I'm playing, like, if I'm playing, I don't know, Call of Duty or something, and someone is blatantly using a keyboard and mouse. I do get super salty for some reason.
Yeah, shout out to Sin Vendetta. This fall, Halo Infinite takes priority over any other game being released. For me, probably, yeah, if it came out the same day as other stuff. So, but of course, the biggest thing from the Ubisoft show was the lack of Splinter Cell. No new game for Xbox Series X or PS5, and Sam Fisher has been relegated to a mobile spin-off game. They even have the voice of Sam Fisher, who I am blanking on his name right now, and I'm sure somebody in the chat will help me out. What is his name? Help me out here, Jez. What is his... I can picture it. I can picture the guy's face. I just don't know his name. I just can't... Oh, you guys know what I'm talking about. The voice of Sam Fisher.
Something...
Michael Ironside. There we go. I just remembered it. He's in the mobile game. It's a mobile game, and it's a cel-shaded mobile game, and it's like, what are you doing this for? Like, Sam Fisher's become a side character. He's in this mobile game. He's in a mission in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. He was in like a mission, I think even in Ghost Recon Wildlands. Like, why aren't you getting his own game? Like, what is there at Ubisoft that's going on here that is like literally, we'll make everything except for Splinter Cell? Well, now that guy who was the guy that was in charge of all their games, who could greenlight a game or cancel a game, well, he's gone because he was a scumbag, along with a lot of other people at Ubisoft apparently, So he's gone. Good riddance, and hopefully we now get a Splinter Cell game because of it.
Maybe. I think I mean, it was important for them to shake up their culture just because of all the allegations that came out. Something was deeply wrong at that company. But more to the point, it hopefully will make their games a little bit more diverse and vibrant, because we talk about it loads, but there's like a Ubisoft template, and they just use it over and over and over and over again. And it's gotten to the point where you just expect, like, I expect Watch Dogs to play similarly to Assassin's Creed just because it's all going to be like similar and stuff like that. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Like, maybe it means we get a new Child of Light, hopefully. I really like Child of Light. I always think, like, when I think of Ubisoft and great games, I always think about Child of Light. I don't think about, like, all the repeated, Ghost Recon games that are just boring as hell, and, I don't know. But I quite like the modern Assassin's Creed games with the RPG style. The fans seem kind of split on that. Do you prefer the RPG style or the old school pure assassination style for Assassin's Creed?
I mean, I really like the Odyssey, but I also really enjoy the old school style of Assassin's Creed. I know some of my friends won't touch the new Assassin's Creed because of the RPG style. So, yeah, I mean, still, like, Assassin's Creed 2 is still my favorite. Like, I liked Odyssey, but I can see why people wouldn't. It just seems like, yeah, they're evolving the franchise or whatever you want to say it, but you're leaving some of the fans behind, and they are not crapping, but they are putting everything, all their different ideologies into the game, like loot and tiered enemies and levels, and you gotta, like, get XP, and you got all these, like, dots all over the map that you gotta go and do stuff and level up. Like, Odyssey was great, but yeah, there's a part of me that's like, man, couldn't we just have a regular Assassin's Creed, which is what a lot of people say kind of a Ghost of Tsushima is kind of like. It has that the combat and then the stealth stuff. So, Yeah, gamer by choice. Ubisoft messed up Splinter Cell, so they're backing off. I believe Red Storm was so much better than you before Ubisoft bought them. Chaos Tomorrow says, thoughts on the link to the Xbox show, and same on GameSpot for their misleading Xbox exclusive headline, Jez pointed out on Twitter, shaking my head. The link to the show, we'll talk about that in a minute. It's an hour. Dream Eater. Jez, have you heard of Annotations of an Autopsy? If not, check them out. Great show, guys. You rock. Have you heard of...
Is that a band or a...
I don't know. I would imagine it's a band.
Is that a band or a game? If it's a band, link me on Twitter and I'll check them out.
Yeah, and the Ichi says, Child of Light is amazing. I need part 2. Child of Light was great. There was going to be a part 2, but Ubisoft didn't want to make games like that, or at least fun games like that anymore, so it doesn't sound like we'll be getting a Child of Light 2 anytime soon, which is unfortunate. So, you know what, let's move away from Ubisoft, and we're going to talk a little about the other thing that happened this week, which I thought was kind of funny, and that's the Stadia Connect. And then we're going to kind of jump from Stadia Connect into the xCloud stuff because...
What is Stadia Connect?
Yeah, did you see the Jeff Keighley poll that was like, what'd you guys think of the Stadia Connect? And everybody was like, there was a Stadia Connect? Because nobody knew there was a Connect. And everybody had like given it like a D rating in Jeff's poll. Yeah, so Stadia had like a little direct, like a 20-minute thing on the 14th. And I watched it just to see what it was talking about. And Jazz, Google's... they're in a bad spot, bro. They're in a really bad spot. Like, sure, people say the tech works, and that's great, right? But my God. Like, you're talking about a show that is saying, hey, you can play the Game of the Year Sekiro on Stadia this year. Congratulations. Everybody else in the world got to play it last year. Their whole show was basically revolved around the fact that, hey, you can play games that you've already played on other consoles previously. And then they only focused for a little bit on, like, new experiences, like a new game from Splash Damage, right, which is very, very, very kiddie-looking, very a multiplayer game. A new game from Supermassive Games, the people who did Until Dawn and stuff, but they didn't show it, and another exclusive coming from a different studio, and they finally are talking about that YouTube integration, right? That everybody was like, oh, like, we get it, like YouTube, you're watching a creator stream a game, you can press the button, you can get into it, right? But you need to be Stadia Pro for that, so you got to pay for it. You got to pay for the membership, and it's not like free to everybody. And I'm just watching this thing, and I'm like this. I'm saying to myself, I'm like, what is this? Like, imagine like I'm interested in Stadia, you know, like, how are you going to sell me on this? You're definitely not selling me on games that have been out for years and have already been played before. So it's on the exclusive content, but their exclusive content, like, I know, say what you will about Xbox and the quality of the exclusive content sometimes, but they do have exclusive content, and Microsoft has, you know, big-time franchises. Like, Google has nothing. So I'm sitting there watching, and I'm like, this is it? Like, I don't understand. Like, anybody watching that, it's just like, yeah, Google Stadia is going to be a great investment. Like, and I saw Wilmy Hood, who tweeted out after watching that show, he's like, I've been a Stadia Pro subscriber since launch. He's like, I immediately canceled it. And I understand why, because you're looking at it like, well, okay. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want Stadia to die, because I think, you know, competition's important in every aspect of business and in life, right? Like, PlayStation needs Xbox, needs Nintendo, needs Steam, needs Epic to kind of keep everything in line and laser focus, so us consumers can get the best deals, the best products for the cheapest amount of money. You know, so there's not like a monopoly when you can charge whatever you want because you can't go anywhere to get it, and people innovate on games and services. Like, we win at the end of the day for all this stuff. So I don't want to see Google just come into the thing, you know, take a dump and leave, because it's not great. And I just look at this, I'm like, man, I don't know, that's gonna. And then like Xbox almost killed them the next couple days later with the xCloud announcement. So, Jez, you want to explain the xCloud thing real fast, or do you have any thoughts on the Stadia situation?
Well,
did you even watch the Stadia Connect?
I didn't even know there was a Stadia Connect, so there's that whole funny business. But making a gaming company is hard, you know, especially from scratch. Amazon's discovering this themselves too now, because like they've basically took both of the games they were making of basically been taken back to the drawing board because they were like, oh, actually, we don't actually know how to make a game, so maybe we should learn before we actually try and release one. So that's all fun and games. And Google, I think Google will get there in the end, but it also depends on what their CEO will do, because their investors are kind of like, why you waste? It's kind of like Mixer, right? Their investors are kind of like, why are you wasting all the money on this? Why don't you concentrate on what you're good at? Blah, 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 blah. And certainly Google's probably hearing a lot of that right now. Like, why are you investing so much in gaming when you can't do it? You know, I doubt, like, you can judge how many people are on Stadia just from, like, looking at Destiny. And it ain't a lot of people. You know, it's not, in its current form, it's not sustainable, I don't think. We'll have to wait and see if they can actually get a killer app or something like that, but I just kind of doubt it.
I mean, it takes years to build games, and they're just like, this seems like they went into this without having the content ready, and they're just like, all right, we're going, but the games that you already have on previous, systems, and like you have to start over. And their business model, which, look at the business model, is not that bad. It's like, hey, we got games in your subscription service, the Stadia Pro, but then you can also buy the games and stream them everywhere. But like, where's the new stuff? Like,
they should have just done what Microsoft did and called it an open beta or something, because right now they've launched it in this state, and everyone just thinks that that's it. It's never going to get any better, So they should have called it an open beta like Microsoft did with xCloud. At least they could have explained away some of the issues that way, had an excuse. But right now they don't have any excuse or nothing. It's just like, this is it, deal with it,
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's if you have to go watch that Stadia Connect, Jez, just to see like how out of touch it is. Like, you're watching that and it's just like, why would anybody be excited for the future of Stadia? Because I was looking at that and I was like, yeesh. Like, their big thing was like, hey, you can push to play on the click to play on YouTube. Your favorite streamer is streaming, PUBG. You can click the button, and it's like, okay, but you need to be Stadia Pro. Oh, so it's not the free version. So I need to pay $10 or whatever it is. It's like, oh, geez.
Like, why would anyone do that? Like, why would you subscribe?
Well, I mean, if you do subscribe
through a game,
if you do subscribe, I mean, at least you get some amount of games. I think they have a bunch of games for free if you do subscribe. But yeah, you would think the big thing is, okay, here's YouTube, here's these millions and millions of people. You want people on your platform, but like now it's like, well, how many people are going to be like, let me click on this game to play PUBG? Like, oh, I need to subscribe? No, thank you. Like, why would I pay $10 to subscribe to play this game, which then either I would need to buy outright, or I obviously maybe I don't know. Is it for every game, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla? Like, oh, streamers playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, or maybe you're watching a video of it and you want to play it yourself. You click on it. Not only do you need to subscribe, but then you need to buy the game. Like, at that point, like, what's the point? Right? It would only really be useful for games that are in the instant access service of the Stadia subscription. But
I think the real issue is like the amount that publishers are charging to make their content available makes it like not worth putting it on the free tier for Google. So it's kind of like they're gonna end up relying on their first party content to really push that service, but they haven't got any. So, like, Microsoft will theoretically, I can imagine a future where we get xCloud on Nintendo Switch, but maybe only for first-party games, Microsoft owns, because they don't want to compete with, they don't want to have to, the publishers won't want to like compete with the native platform and getting sales of their games and stuff like that through. But Microsoft can just be like, well, this is how we drive interest in xCloud is, we make our first party stuff available, your Halos, your Forzas, your Gears of Wars and all that sort of stuff. Basically, Microsoft is in such a better place than Stadia right now. It's absurd.
Yeah.
And I can't see Stadia competing when xCloud launches in September, because they've got the official launch date for Stadia, although we don't have a list of countries. We don't really even have whether we don't know if it's iOS support or just Android, or whether it's on desktop or what. There's very, very little details available about that right now. But it's they've got their official launch date announced, and it's going to be at no additional cost as part of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, which is $15 a month.
Yeah, which is kind of what we always speculated it would be, right? Like, it just can be included into that, and if you want to stream the games, you can stream, whatever games are in Game Pass. Now, they are kind of starting out small. It's only 100 titles, a little bit over 100. I would imagine it grows like the backwards compatibility program over time, like more titles will get added. And I did read, I think Phil talked to Tom Warren, and I think they talked about like the purchases that you make. A game that isn't in Game Pass, but you did buy, eventually, potentially letting you stream that where you go, but that's like a different license, or they would need to work things out with publishers in regards to that, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the details are still kind of like, but at least we've got the official launch date, and I suppose when they do the rumored platform event in August, I suspect we'll get the full-blown details on what that looks like.
And probably even the name.
Yeah, and the name. We still don't know the name.
I mean, they said it's not going to be Project xCloud. I'm assuming it's going to be something simple, probably Xbox game streaming, if I had to take a guess.
Yeah, the app is called Xbox Game Streaming right now, and a lot of the code says Xbox Game Streaming. So maybe it's just going to be called Xbox Game Streaming.
Yeah.
And that's simple and to the point. Like, you know exactly what it means. Xbox is gaming. Game streaming means game streaming.
Yeah. Plus, you already have like Xbox console streaming, which is you're streaming the game from your console to your phone. I mean, I don't know. It's straight to the point. Xbox game streaming. Even though I think Project xCloud or xCloud's a better name, just like I thought like Project Natal was a better name than Connect. But Xbox game streaming is right to the point. Shout out to Commander Shepard. He says, remember when the first Assassin's Creed you die if you touch the water? Glad they got rid of that in Assassin's Creed 2, which is his favorite Assassin's Creed game. Johan Cross says, whatever happened to Beyond Good and Evil 2? Well, I think Ubisoft's trying to pretend that it doesn't exist. Who knows whenever that game's coming out. And I remember saying when they first showed off that game that it was basically going to be a next-gen game. So, yeah, xCloud coming out in September, part of Game Pass Ultimate. But there was something else pretty interesting revolving around the Game Pass and Xbox Live Gold, Jez, that we kind of need to talk a little bit about here, because it could have huge ramifications or maybe not. But Xbox Live Gold, Microsoft removed the 12-month subscription, which is $59.99, and people were wondering, like, what does this mean? Microsoft actually confirmed and said, yeah, it's gone. So, I think this means one of two things. One, being that this is their new pricing strategy, where just like kind of with Xbox Game Pass, you can't really buy 12-month cards. You kind of got to buy them in 3-month increments. I know on the console, I think you can buy 12 months, but there's no discount, right? It's just like 1 month is the same as 3 months, is the same as 6 months, is the same as 12. It's just kind of like there's no discount for buying longer. And that's kind of like maybe they're turning gold into that, where it's like, okay, we don't want to give people a discount, right? Which I don't think is the right thing, because to me that's a price increase. You may disagree with me, but like gold $60. If you remove it and you can't get gold for $60, but now you want gold, well, gold for the year is now, if you pay for 3 months, is $100, or if you pay monthly, it's $120. So that's a price increase, and quite frankly, Xbox Live hasn't really been the best this year. It's had a lot of problems, especially with the pandemic that's going on. Understandable, but still, a lot of party chat problems. A lot of times you get on and you can't really connect. Stuff like that. And Games of Gold has been absolutely horrible. So you can see this as a move of like Microsoft increasing the price of Gold to essentially kind of funnel people into Game Pass Ultimate, because Game Pass Ultimate includes Gold, thereby increasing the potential value of Game Pass Ultimate in people's eyes. I think that's one scenario.
If you buy 12 months worth, at 3 months increments, How much of a saving is it to just buy 12 months when you compare them?
Well, so 3 months of gold is $25. 6 months, 12 months of gold was 60. So if you buy what 4 months of 4 months at 25, that's $100. So it's a $40 jump. So like I said, it's one of two things. One being it's obviously not a mistake. So I have 3 scenarios off of my head. One, it was a mistake. It's not a mistake. 2, they're artificially increasing the price of gold to make Xbox Game Pass look more appealing, to funnel people into that. Or 3, Xbox Live Gold is about to go away. And multiplayer will be free. And the reason why they removed the 12-month option is because in 12 months there won't be Xbox Live Gold. And what Microsoft will do is anybody that does have Gold right now will probably be converted into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members or whatever. And that sure you can currently buy 3 months of Gold because Gold won't be removed in the next 3 months. So we do have this Xbox July showcase coming up on the 23rd. There is an August thing planned, rumored for Lockhart reveal, maybe price pre-orders and all that stuff. So, like I said, I have 3 scenarios. One being it was a mistake, which was ruled out, and 2, I already mentioned the one about how it was a price increase to kind of increase the value of Game Pass Ultimate. Or 2, they're just getting rid of gold, and that would be a huge like a huge thing, like a megaton announcement whenever they would make that, in my opinion, because it's like they're adding streaming into the Game Pass Ultimate sub, right? They're adding something new into that. I know gold's a part of it, but if you just get rid of gold and you make multiplayer free, there's potential, especially if there was ever a time you were going to remove gold, right? It's at the start of a generation, because people are going to be choosing outside of like the super hardcore, like everybody listening here, me and Jazz, you know what platforms you're going to play on, right? Like we're all going to get Xbox and PlayStation 5. I'm getting both day one, but you guys know I'm going to play everything on Xbox. But not everybody's like that, right? People kind of choose what their friends pick up and where the multiplayer games are and stuff like that. And if there was a situation where it was a little bit different, where multiplayer was free on Xbox, but it was paid for on PlayStation, that potentially could sway people into playing on the Xbox ecosystem. And then if their friends are on the Xbox ecosystem playing games, maybe the more their friends are, so more people are playing multiplayer, spending money. And then it kind of also falls in line with their vision of, hey, well, people don't play for the multiplayer on PC side. I'm assuming people with Halo Infinite, like you wouldn't be, if you're streaming it mobilely, you wouldn't be paying for the multiplayer there either. I mean, I know it's pie in the sky thing, but Jazz, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think, man. Am I crazy for thinking this, or what?
Well, first of all, I don't want to believe that it's true right now, because I just don't want to set myself up with disappointment. It'd be such a huge amount of money to lose.
It would be,
and like it'd be a gamble. It'd be a huge gamble. It'd be a gamble on the idea that they can make the money back in other ways and stuff like that. Because they would be losing money for like. There's a lot of money to be made from that sub. So if they get rid of it, and I've heard that, they do those free Xbox Live Gold weekends, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I've heard that doesn't actually change the numbers. Like, anyone who wants to play multiplayer already buys gold, basically. So I think what this could do is change narratives, change, the way my Xbox is perceived, because at that point it's kind of like you literally can't defend. You can't. There's literally no way you could spin that as a negative. You could, like, people gaslight and spin almost everything to do with Xbox as a negative. They figure out a way to spin everything as bad. There's literally nothing they could do to spin that as negative. Nothing. So it would be like a huge marketing moment. It would change the way the media talks about Xbox, and it'd change the way Xbox is perceived. But again, I do think it would be a gamble, because a lot of people do pay for that, and it's a lot of money. So right now I'm inclined to think that it's too good to be true, but who knows? I want to
I
believe
mean, it does sound too good to be true. I mean, we're talking about the company that invented the paywall for console gaming, then getting rid of the paywall for console gaming, for multiplayer. I mean, it
It's
sounds
kind of
like
I could see them doing it on the basis that their cloud has grown so big and so in-house and so proprietary that having a cloud is just something that's a lot cheaper for Microsoft to do these days. And it's like, maybe they just like back in the day they needed it to fund what they were going to try and do with xCloud, because they've been building xCloud since the 360 era. This ain't like some new thing. They just sprung out of nowhere a few years ago. They initially showed off xCloud with Halo 4 at an all hands meeting on the 360. So this has been years in the making, and this has been funded by Xbox Live Gold, basically. All the servers, all the infrastructure, and maybe they can flip the switch now and be like, well, we can prioritize xCloud instead and Game Pass instead, like do a consumer friendly thing and just remove the paywall for multiplayer, because let's face it, PC gamers don't have to pay for multiplayer. xCloud gamers aren't going to have to pay for multiplayer because, well, it's going to be on Xbox Live Gold, I guess. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate anyway. So I don't know. It just sort of becomes kind of redundant and archaic and old fashioned. And especially like there's another aspect towards all this. You've got like Xbox All Access too, which is going to be like guaranteed income, and Microsoft is going to push that in a big way. And then on top of that, you've also got Xbox Game Pass perks, which I'm guessing is going to be a huge part of Halo Infinite, like the whole Battle Pass stuff, which we talked about earlier with Overwatch, and the way that publishers are evolving engagement in games and stuff like that. So there are potentially a lot of ways that can make the money back with going into a free model, but I do think it's a weird gamble, and I do think maybe it's too good to be true, because that'd be a mic drop megaton moment.
No, that would be.
I can see it.
But there's the thing; it's so huge. It's such a big announcement that I don't like. I know SubZX. This is like his thing. He's been saying that like this. He's been saying for years that this is going to happen, and I'm just trying to read. It's like, okay, why would Microsoft do this? Right, I'm trying to put myself in like, okay, so they get rid of the 12-year subscription. I'm like, okay, so that makes like, all right, so now if I want a year, now it's more expensive. Now it's $100 if I go for the 3-month route, or $120. Like, that's a price increase. Even if you're not saying it's a price increase, it's a price increase, right? And it's like, well, people say, well, just subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate, but Game Pass Ultimate's $15 a month. So that would be, what, $170 or $180 or whatever it would be for a year. But what if I'm just someone who just wants to play multiplayer? Like, I don't care, because not everybody's interested in Game Pass. Like, it's never going to be a 1-to-1. Like, 50 million Xbox users or whatever there is, and they say 100 million, if you combine everything. Like, you're not going to have 100 million subscribers to Game Pass. It's just not going to happen, because not everybody's interested in Game Pass. Some people just be like, I just want to get on and play my Fortnite. Or I just want to get on and play my Call of Duty. I don't care about Game Pass. So if you get rid of gold, but then make people subscribe to Game Pass to play multiplayer, I think that's a wrong move, especially in this time of like optics and perception. I think that would be perceived as bad, especially when Xbox is the champion of, we want to give people options. Options. How many times they talk about options? And so it's like, I don't think that's a good idea. So it's like, I can't see them doing it because I think that would look really bad. But it's like, but if somehow they were just going to completely drop gold and be like, well, we're getting rid of 12 months because we're getting rid of gold here, and we're going to convert people who have a current subscription into Game Pass members, right? Mm-hmm. And so, but this would be a cheap way of doing that. Like, there's a lot of people, because I still think if you haven't transition from gold to ultimate or whatever, I think that $1 deal still works. Like, that was how I was able to, I kind of stocked up on 3 years worth of Xbox Live Gold, and then I did that transition to ultimate for $1, and I got 3 years of Game Pass Ultimate for that price. And I wonder if Microsoft knows that. Obviously, they would know if they're getting rid of gold, but obviously spending $60 to add time onto your thing, and then if they're really converting everybody, because you would have to, because you're just ending the subscription and people have paid for it, that would be, some people would obviously pay through the nose for that. So it's going to be interesting to see what really, really... Uh-oh. I think I lost Discord. Discord is not connecting right now. Hold on one second. I think Discord is down because my Discord is just spinning and connecting, so I lost Jez. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but yeah, Discord just keeps on saying connecting. I'm assuming you guys can hear me because, well, I'm streaming through OBS, but I have the conversation with Jez on Discord, and right now Discord is down for me, so you won't be able to hear Jez. So yeah, this kind of sucks right now because we can't really have a conversation. We can't really have a filmic conversation because Discord has just completely went down. So I guess I'll try my best to keep the conversation going, and maybe Discord gets back up. Because right now, it is just constantly saying that it's connecting. And this is the problem with this stuff. Like, we use Discord for this. I guess maybe you could use StreamYard, but I never really kind of screwed around with that. Has anybody seen Discord? Have they tweeted out anything? Is, like, Discord just completely down right now? Come on, Skype. No, I'm not using Skype. I did restart my Discord, but I guess I'll give some shout-outs to some people. I saw some super chats I need to read off, so we'll keep it going. Let me know if Discord comes back up. Elemento Pino says, please explain who's buying Xbox Live instead of auto annual newer subscription. I don't know what you mean. Please explain who's buying Xbox Live instead of an auto annual renewal subscription. Well, they're getting rid of the 12 months, so anybody who had an auto renewal for 12 months wouldn't be able to get that anymore. You'd be forced to essentially do a 3-month renewal or 1 month, which would be more money. Austin Hannigan says, hey, screwed up the first message, but I'll try again. Been watching you guys at work. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you very much, Austin. Appreciate that. And love of the game, newest member of the channel. Thanks for the support, buddy. Midway Monster says, I just Game Pass on console, not PC or xCloud. How does Ultimate benefit me without $60 gold included? Well, if you just Game Pass on console, you can just pay the $10 for Game Pass on the console. If you're not interested in the PC or xCloud stuff, that you don't have to pay for it. You just pay the $10 to get your Game Pass on the console. You wouldn't have to pay the extra money if you don't care for the PC or xCloud. Now, the rumor is, like we were talking, maybe they just get rid of gold and multiplayer is free, and you're kind of just free to choose where you what you want. So let me check Discord once again. Still says it's connecting. Yeah, so that's not good. At least this is disconnecting. Let me see. Server status. Let's look at the server status online. And that isn't even loading. Oh, I don't know what to say here. So I keep on getting it. Just keeps on loading for me. So we'll just have to keep on going. Unfortunately, Grinder's down too. So I guess I'll just talk a little bit about. I don't even have my topics now because my topics are in Discord. Everything is down. What is going on right now? Shout out to the 1,500 of you watching. I see we have some 400 likes. Let's see if we can get that up well past 500. try the web browser version of Discord. That'll definitely disconnect my voice though, and I would have to then reconnect to the other one, and I don't know if that would work. So you're just gonna have to bear with me. But all right, give me a topic to talk about real quick, and we'll talk about it. Well, you know what? I'll talk a little bit about Phil Spencer's comments. Since I saw that it was a big thing today on, as it usually is, Phil Spencer says something and people go crazy about stuff. Skype, I'm not situated to use up Skype right now. Everything's not set that way. So let's talk about Phil Spencer's comments. So yesterday in the article, he basically said, hey, as we've known for a while, that their first party is going to be putting out games on Xbox Series X, right? They're like not exclusive. Like they're going to be on the Xbox One for a couple years. And people aren't okay with that. Some people are okay with that. A lot of people say it's pro-consumer. Like, we're not going to force you to upgrade. If you want to play Halo Infinite, but you don't have the money this holiday because of whatever reason, you don't have to upgrade. You can play Halo on your Xbox One or your PC. We don't need to sell you the console because Microsoft's business strategy isn't about selling you the console in the same way as it is PlayStation's strategy, right? And let me see. I'll try to open up Discord again, and it's still not working. Yeah, I don't know. The app here is still not working. So a lot of people are upset about that, right? A lot of people are upset. A lot of people want Microsoft to follow in the footsteps of PlayStation. They want them to be like, Halo Infinite is only on the Series X, and whatever game's coming out is only on the Series X. They don't want it to be cross-gen. A lot of people have this fear that the games will be held back by last generation, which we have yet to see if that would be true. There's this kind of like nebulous, well, game design will be held back. Maybe it will, maybe it won't be. We haven't even seen, talk of what Halo Infinite is or isn't doing. So, people like to fearmonger a lot of that stuff. They're like, hey, I want Halo Infinite to be the best it can be. Like, and I think it could be held back, or if it was only on Series X, it could be this much better. We'll see. Like, we'll see how that game looks. Like, and if it is held back, man, I expect Halo Infinite to look and run and perform worse than anything PlayStation showed. Zocker's trying to tell me to restart Discord, Alt Control Delete, go to Task Manager, and actually kill the program. Okay. We'll see. Alright, it's checking for updates right now. Hopefully it works. Because it was still running. We'll see if it works. Hopefully it gets taken. Hopefully it comes back up. This is kind of screwed up right here. Doesn't Discord know that I do a podcast at this time? Like, what the hell, man? Still says it's checking for updates. So I guess we'll see. So a lot of people are upset about that, which, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Like, I'm gonna get Series X day one. Like, I understand why Microsoft's doing it. Their strategy is about the ecosystem and the players playing on it and getting as many people to play their games as possible. Like, I understand their strategy because I've been explaining their strategy to do it for a year, if not longer. Personally, sure. Like, I'm buying Series X. I would like the game to only be on Series X. That's just me. I understand the business strategy behind it. Personally, I'm selfish. I've always said that. I'm always just very selfish. Like, I'm getting these new systems. I don't care about people who can't get the new system on Xbox One or on the PlayStation 4. You know what I mean? Like, I'm selfish like that. I'm sorry. It's just kind of the way it is. Super Panda says Discord is down. It said so on their Twitter. And, yeah, I think so. Artemis says PS5 new controller demo. I did not watch that. Midway Monster says my gold is up in 2 days. We'll find out soon. And this is still just checking for updates, so it's not grabbing anything. So I'm going to have to kill it again. Maybe check it once more. Well, I can't even kill it because... Close. Okay, there we go. Aragorn says, if Microsoft wants the new exclusives to be playable on the current xCloud infrastructure, they need to make the games compatible with last gen. It's pro-consumer and good business. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why they want to support Xbox One for a couple years. Obviously, Game Pass is the platform, as Z-Huge said. And if you're cutting off all those people on Xbox One who won't be able to get Series X, like Halo Infinite is going to be a big reason to get that. And all these other new games coming from first party. Like, you can't just cut off the Xbox One for business reasons because you need to sell Game Pass. Same thing with xCloud. Like, we already know the next-gen version of xCloud, won't be ready until 2021 at some point. It'll be a small rollout. So there's other reasons why they're doing that other than, just like, hey, we're super pro-consumer. There's business reasons behind it all, as there usually is. Henry says they can make Xbox Live free from the deal they made with Sony using Microsoft servers. I mean, we don't know too much about that just yet or how much the money was for. So, yeah. But, so there's a lot of back and forth about the not being held back thing. Obviously, Sony's going to have exclusives and Microsoft's not. So Microsoft's positioned themselves as like, hey, we're not going to force you. It's more pro-consumer move. And Sony's positioning themselves as like, you want true next gen? Well, you got it here because these games are only being made on the PS5. It's a whole marketing thing. It's all really what it is. Finish what I was saying. I selfishly want the games to be made only for Series X because I'm going to be getting Series X, and I don't really care about the people on Xbox One. That may seem harsh, but whatever. I'm not Microsoft. I'm not the one out here trying to make billions of dollars from their gaming platform, so I don't care if those people are left behind. They'll get an Xbox Series X whenever they do. But I understand the business reasons, though. Like, that's why I get what they're doing, and I've figured they would do this for a long time now. And I've said that before in, many a video trying to explain their business practices and what they'll do, to to people as the years go on. So, yeah, I keep on loading up Discord, and it keeps on just saying, hey, holding tight, loading Discord, checking for updates. So who knows what's going on. So I guess I'll just keep it going. So today there was a German interview with Phil Spencer where, man, the GameSpot wrote this article about, hey, like, first-party developers are, what was the exact title? Like, first-party developers are free to choose to make cross-gen. And there was a thread on Reset Era with the quote, and people were just like, well, this contradicts what he said yesterday. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. Like, did he actually say this, Like, because I'm always like, all right, well, I want to read it for myself. I know a lot of people, they see the title, and they don't watch the video. I know it happens a lot of time for my videos, right? A lot of times people will just read the title, but don't listen. A lot of people will see the title of an article and they won't actually read it. So I was like, okay, let me listen to this interview. Did he really say first party, right? And I'm watching it, and the question was about, hey, the guy asked him, you said, or Matt Booty said that there wouldn't be exclusives from your first party for the first couple years. But then at the May showcase, you had a couple games that are exclusive to Series X. What's the deal? And, Phil did his answer. He started talking about how they were building up his first party, blah, 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 all standard stuff. And then he basically goes to answer the guy's question and says, hey, like, in regards to the games that you mentioned from the May showcase, if a creator comes to us and says, hey, we want to focus on next gen, we'll support that. So I'm like, did anybody actually listen to this interview? Because the question was about why was Scorn and Medium exclusive? And sure, Phil talked about first party, and he was kind of just like, first party and what we're doing, and we got these studios and we're giving them money. But when he actually answered the question, it was like, hey, in regards to those two games that you mentioned at the May showcase, if someone wants to make a next-gen game only, we'll support that. So I'm like, so he's literally talking about second party, at least in his answer. But yet you got all these people all upset in this Reset Era thread because coincidentally, the OP in that thread left off a key piece of information about it, the answer, and everybody gets all upset. And then, of course, everybody on Twitter gets all upset because they see the headline and they don't actually read it for themselves because they assume that someone writing the article would actually do it. And then GameSpot writes that, but completely leaves out the stuff about the May Showcase or what the question was about and editorializes it and tries to say this is what Phil Spencer said the first party was doing. It's weird, man. It was... I don't understand why people don't, like, verify what's going on. Like, they see the headline and they don't actually check to see if it's true. It's very, very, very sad situation. And it, like, I don't know. Let's see. We still have Discord running here. I don't think Discord's open. Nope, Discord is not open. I closed it, and every time I do start up Discord, it is just, it just spins for a download, but never does anything. Kratopsy says, but people really know the difference between second and first party, though. Not really, and it's not even like the Medium is second party or the Scorn or the like those are just games that Microsoft just bought to have exclusive to their platform. Sure, two of them will be exclusive to Series X because that's what the developers wanted. I just kind of and I shouldn't be that surprised because people's common sense and reading comprehension has gone in the toilet. I mean, it's just, I don't know. Like, I read that stuff and I don't really react too much to on Twitter. But I had to say something, and I had to say something in the podcast because I'm just like, there's the truth, and then there's what you want the truth to be, or you want to be outraged about something. Like, I listened to what he said. I'm like, it's not what he said. I can understand English. I know what the question was and how he answered it. Like, I'm not sure anybody who would listen to that would be like, oh, he's talking about first party. I mean, it's clear as fucking day what he was talking about. But hey, anything to anything to drive a headline, anything to make it seem like, Xbox is shit or great or whatever. It goes either way. PlayStation, great or terrible. People will always spin everything either which way to whatever suits their agenda. I'm just more interested in the truth of the matter. And I had to go find it out for myself because you can't really trust people anywhere. Like, you read a headline, it's like, oh, this is garbage, right? Henry says, okay, I already read that super chat, and I think I have another one here. Star-Lord, hey Rand, do you know if the game Last Call is canceled? It was a 2017 E3 reveal. Cyberpunk like indie scroller never heard since then. I think it was having funding problems, which is why it hasn't come out yet and hasn't been seen since. Although I do think he did find new investors to make that game, so maybe we'll see it again sometime soon. And Elemental Pio says next week's Xbox Showcase confirmed 1080p 60. That is right. 60 frames is going to be great. And Darius Diggs says, hey, Jez and Rand, love the show. Question, do you think we'll get one or two new pillar franchises for Xbox on the 23rd? If you can't answer because of spoilers, just wink in chat. Obviously, I think Xbox is building new franchises 100%. So, that would be, Fable probably, whatever the Initiative, I think as well, would be a new franchise, whatever's Obsidian making. So yeah, let's see. Let me try to load up Discord once more, and we will see what is going on. Still checking for updates. Damn. Let's see. An upstream internet issue. We got all the engineers on deck investigating the issue. Come on, Discord. Really? Why you have to do this to me? Like, what the hell? Me and Jez were having a great show. We haven't even gotten to the meat of the issue yet. We were still, we almost got 1,600 people in here, and we still had to talk about the game showcase and the predictions and all that stuff. Man, I was gonna tell you guys everything that was gonna be at the Xbox Game Showcase. I'm kidding. I don't know. I don't know what's at the Xbox Game Showcase. No, a couple things, but I don't know everything. Mike says cloud attack on all the big servers. Riot Games down as well. Rand, avoid artificial sweeteners. You'll feel better. Thank you, Mike. And Super Panda says, wouldn't any first-party targeting next-gen probably fall outside that 2-year window anyways? Well, they're making games like... I don't expect Fable or Hellblade to be targeting first party, or to be targeting this gen Xbox One anyways. But the thing is they're going to be rolling out xCloud to the Xbox One. So if someone who does have an Xbox One console doesn't want to get Xbox Series X or Lockhart, well, if they really wanted to, they could essentially stream that game. Now, I know streaming is not necessarily optimal way, but you'll still be able to play Hellblade 2 on your Xbox One. You just would have to stream it. If you have a PC, you could play it there. If you have an Xbox Series X or Lockhart, you could obviously play it natively there. That's how I think some of those things will actually go down. And Kylo Ken says, people read headlines and assume they got the info they need. They don't want to take time to put in the work to get the real story. Yeah, that's true. That is definitely true. They see the headline and they figure, oh, well, this is obviously true. I'm going to go about my day and think, hey, this is what was actually said. But it usually never is, right? Radimus Cisco says, something weird is going on right now. At work, we lost some systems when Discord failed. About Games of Gold, could it be moved to basic Game Pass $10? I mean, I guess it's possible, but I don't think that's likely. The gold thing is super interesting, though. It's really interesting because if you imagine a scenario where they got rid of gold and they got rid of the multiplayer paywall, like, that is such a huge moment, especially when you compare PlayStation to Xbox in that manner of, at least, you had Xbox in the the 360 was the dominant platform. I know, even though PlayStation 3 went out to sell more, but at the start, like Xbox 360 really dominated in North America when those systems were both out. And eventually PlayStation got, their bearings because they launched at $600. They didn't really have a lot of great games. Xbox launched a year earlier, was way cheaper, and Xbox had the paid multiplayer, but Xbox also had the big multiplayer games. I mean, it had Halo 3, the Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Like, it had stuff that people wanted to play, and that was where everybody wanted to play it. And eventually Sony, fixed it, got their first-party situation in order, got the price down. And then the PS4 gen, it was, hey, we're starting over. Everybody's paying for multiplayer. And imagine if you start out next gen and Sony's the one who's making you pay for multiplayer and Xbox isn't. That would be an absolutely huge announcement if they could pull it off. And I'm just sitting here trying to think, why would they get rid of the 12-month payment option? Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe people from Xbox who listen to this podcast right now are like, Jesus Christ, Rand, give it a rest. You don't know what you're talking about. It's some stupid thing, and this is the reason why, and you'll find out in a week from now or something. It's done. And it very well could be. I mean, it's a podcast, and I'm clearly speculating, but there's got to be a reason. They said it's not a mistake, and I just can't see them being like, well, we're going to artificially raise the price of gold and kind of funnel people to Game Pass Ultimate. I don't really see them doing that, so, man, can't wait to see what happens with gold and next week. Dr. Lecter says, love you guys. Hope you're wrong about Forza Motorsport 8 in 2021. I don't think we will see Forza Motorsport this year. I'm pretty confident. That the Forza game is not launching this year and will be early 2021. The Darge Knight, my brother, says it's almost time. Hashtag the fire rises. It is almost time, Darge. And Darth Paxton says, F, Marry, and Kill, Interactive Story Edition, Quantic Dream, Supermassive, and Dontnod. That's interesting. Okay. Who would I F, marry, or kill? I would marry... Well, this is good. I would kill... man, who would I kill? I would kill... I would marry Dontnod, I would F Supermassive, and I would kill Quantic Dream. That's what I would go. I think Dontnod makes better stories in a long format. I think Supermassive makes better games than Quantic Dream, and I think Quantic Dream, they're very pretentious, even though they've made some good stuff. But, I'd kill Quantic Dream. I know that's a little bit harsh there, but let me try Discord once more. I think we're back. Oh, no, it says it's connecting. Jez DM'd me. Hold on. I gotta go to the secret DMs with all the information. Let's see. I'm telling him that Jez is like, what's going on? Oh, it says Cloudflare outage. Users are currently having trouble connecting to Discord due to an upstream internet issue. So yeah, it doesn't seem like Discord's coming back anytime soon, unfortunately. So we'll just keep on going. It's just going to be a one-man show for a while. There's 1,600 of you watching. If you guys want to hit the like button or subscribe, follow me or Jez on Twitter. I'm sorry that Discord went down on us, and we can't hear Jez's lovely voice talk about everything. I don't even think Jez knows that Discord went down because he asked me what's the problem. Like, people have been kind of, they've been, tagging me to let me know that, hey, Discord is having this huge problem, and I can't get back in. Yeah, well, Kratopsy says his Discord is working flawlessly, but mine isn't. I don't know. I don't know what to say. Let's see. What else we got here to talk about? Okay, yeah, Xbox One X and the Xbox One SAT editions both got discontinued. So, what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, it kind of means exactly what I've been saying for a while now, right? Like that the One X is getting discontinued because it's getting replaced with Xbox Lockhart. I've been saying that since we first heard about Anaconda and Lockhart back in 2018, and I reiterated that again at the VGA reveal. When Microsoft revealed the Series X at the VGAs and the name Xbox Series X, right? People were like, well, how will people know? How will grandma know what system to get when she goes to GameStop or wherever to buy her kid something, right? Like, that was always a thing. Like, hey, you know what? You can't have Series X and One X on the store shelves at the same time. And I was like, listen, guys, what's going to happen is there will be no more One X on the store shelves. They're going to phase that system out. And why are they going to phase that system out? Because they're coming in with a system that is going to be the same price and is going to be a much better piece of hardware, right? So, you have Xbox Lockhart, which sure, it isn't announced yet, and I guess Microsoft could cancel it at any point in time. That's supposed to be revealed in August. Jess is still talking? That's funny. Because obviously I can't hear him. So, was he talking the whole time? Because every time I load up my Discord, it just doesn't do anything. It just says connecting, and then it just gives me the Cloudflare thing. So, yeah, it says connection problem. It says users are beginning able to connect, and the upstream internet issues appear to be recovering. So, I'll try it again in a couple minutes. So, yeah, so I always said, listen, this Lockhart thing is going to replace the One X. And they're getting rid of the SAD because the Lockhart's going to be an all-digital version. And they're going to position the One S as the cheapest way to get into the ecosystem, right? It's going to have a disk drive because some people might be a little bit sensitive to that. So they want to be able to get those type of people into it. And that system would be probably sold for around $199 normally, potentially, maybe like $150, right? And Lockhart will come in at about $299, and then Series X will be about $500. So none of this is really a surprise. I know a lot of people, when the news broke, when Tom Warren, said that it was canceled, people were, shocked. And I'm like, well, hold on one second. Talking to Jez right now. He says, wait a minute, you're still live right now? I'm like, well, yeah, because I'm streaming through OBS. The only reason we use Discord is so that people... so people can hear you. Man, it's hard to talk to people in DMs and try to talk to, do a show. See, Discord, he says it's working for him. So I'm going to try to quit Discord again. And I'm going to try to load it back up. Hopefully we can get it back in here. God, Discord really screwed us here, huh? And we still got 1,500 people watching. I appreciate that very much, guys. Sorry for all the tech problems today. Obviously didn't plan for this. It's kind of hard to do all these different things. Yeah, it just keeps on saying cloud users are beginning to enable Connect, but not me. So I don't know what else to do. So, hey, Harper, I don't even know how to say that name. If they remove the SAD, the locker goes there. What are the prices? Come on, you know. Jez is like, if it doesn't go to bed, if it doesn't work, I'll just go to bed. Come on, Jez. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do here. Every time I load up Discord, it says it doesn't work. The Lockhart would be positioned as the $299 device. It would be essentially the Xbox One X, and then Series X would be the premium system, and then you'd have the One S as the lowest entry. $199, essentially $150 maybe during the holidays. Maybe they can even get it down to $100. Like, the Xbox's whole strategy, if you guys haven't been paying attention, isn't about the console you buy. They want you in the ecosystem, subscribing to Game Pass and playing your games, and they don't care where you do that. They don't care if you get a Series X, or if you get an Xbox One, or if you're playing on PC, or if you're streaming through xCloud. Like, that is not their overwhelming goal. Their goal is to get as many people playing their games as possible without obviously resorting to being a third-party publisher, right? Like putting all their games on PlayStation or putting all their games on Nintendo, although I would imagine Microsoft would love to put all their games on the Switch, stream them there, because then they can essentially use a Nintendo Switch as a mobile Xbox. I'm sure they would love to do that. But the PlayStation stuff, they'll never do that, because the money is selling other people's games. And once you kind of like, if there's no reason to get an Xbox because all their games are on PlayStation, then everybody would just get a PlayStation and everybody would buy the games there, and you just lost everything. So the whole point is the ecosystem. So it's just people are just, how do I say this? People are used to the console war, okay? People are used to looking at it and seeing how much did you sell, how much did I sell, who won, right? And with this upcoming gen, Microsoft's taking a different approach, because Xbox is kind of following along the strategy that Satya, the CEO, is. It's like, you go to where the customer is. You don't go to where they tried bringing the consumer to them. That was what Ballmer did. But now it's all about going to where the consumer is. So Xbox is going to be on PC, and they're going to have multitude of entry points for anybody to, buy a game. It's just kind of what it is. It's why Halo Infinite's going to be on everything, because they want as many people as playing Halo Infinite as humanly possible, instead of just, it's only on Series X. If your goal was to sell as many consoles as humanly possible, Halo Infinite would only be on Series X and it wouldn't be on PC. If that was your goal. But it's not the goal. So I don't know how much better I can explain this. I feel like I've been explaining this for like 2 years now, and people just get surprised when this stuff gets constantly brought up. If you're afraid to debate another podcaster, you should insult him. Like, debate. Debating in the gaming community? It's lame, dude. What are you talking about, debating people? I don't need to debate anybody. Okay, let me load up Discord one more time and see what happens. See if we can get Jez back in here, because I don't want him to go to bed. We want to have a discussion about stuff. Blah. Let's see here. Still spinning. It says connecting. We'll see if it actually connects. I hope it does. And nope, it of course doesn't. Why you failed me, Discord? Anyways, moving on. I guess moving on from that, unless anybody has something else they wanted to, a question they wanted to ask. I guess Star-Lord did. Hey, how is Microsoft going to handle all digital? Don't they want a digital console? Don't they want a digital console like Sony to lock gamers into their ecosystem? Well, yeah, so the rumors are that Lockhart, which is supposed to be the cheaper next-gen Xbox, is all digital. So that would be their all-digital system to lock the people into the ecosystem. It would be the cheaper entry. Like PlayStation 5 all-digital is either probably going to be $399, $449, or $499. I guess it's one of those three price points. Lockhart's probably going to be anywhere between $249, $299, and $349, depending. And obviously, like, usually the cheaper SKU sells the most. So most of the people eventually, after all the hardcore buy Series X, is the majority of people who buy Xbox, especially the next-gen consoles, will be, all digital. Because that's the only version that's going to be available for them. And the Glitch Store says, hey, the published Xbox game case reads Xbox Series X and Xbox One. Either Lockhart won't have a disk drive or it'll be called Series X Lite. Well, that's the other thing. Like I said, Lockhart's supposed to be digital, so nobody's going to be going to stores to buy retail disc copies for their all-digital console. So the game case only has to say Xbox Series X and Xbox One because that disc works on both of those consoles. There's no reason to include Lockhart on it because the disc will never work on the Lockhart system. So it doesn't need to be on there. Yeah, a lot of people don't really think like that when they're thinking about the black ribbon at the top is really kind of long and they need to fit Lockhart in there, and the diamond-shaped Xbox, optimized for Series X versus optimized for Series S. They need another, how are we going to know it's optimized? It's guys, Lockhart's a digital system. It doesn't need retail boxes because you're not going to be buying retail. You're going to be buying, codes or just buying the game straight from Xbox or Amazon or whatever. This isn't that hard. It's I don't know. I don't know if I'm just incredibly smart with this stuff or if people just can't see the writing on the wall or if logic just evades them. I don't know. A lot of the stuff that I do get right, sure, people tell me some things. I hear things from sources, but a lot of some of the other stuff is I just look at it logically and it's this is what's going to happen. And then it happens. It's not that hard, guys. Come on. Have you heard of the confusing statements by Phil Spencer regarding next-gen games? We did. We already discussed that. I don't think it's it's only confusing if you saw the headline and actually didn't listen to the interview. Once you listen to the interview, everything is explained. And we already talked about that. Let me see if let's see if we can load up Discord is working again. Hallelujah. Look at this. Discord is working. And I am back. Okay, so I am back in Discord. I will message Jazz. And we will continue. Jeez. Yeah, if you guys want to tag Jez, tell him that that Discord is working for me because I know he said it was working for him. So tell him to get back up. Is that Jez? What's going on?
Man, what? That is the worst luck, man.
I know, right?
That is the worst luck.
Well, I'm gonna make sure. Okay, so let me know if you guys can hear Jez. He just rejoined.
Hello.
Yeah, that was weird. I think did someone said Cloudflare became
Yeah, Cloudflare went down. Windows Central went down as well, which was really annoying. I was trying to write an article about Discord being down, and then our content management system wasn't working either. I was like, oh, this is Cloudflare, isn't it? So, when Cloudflare is down, half the internet goes down because half the internet is powered by Cloudflare, apparently, which is, goes back to what we were talking about with monopolies. Monopolies are bad.
Yeah, that was weird, man. All of a sudden, Discord just dropped, and I was like, well, it was good because the show could continue, but nobody could hear you because, you're in Discord, but I stream through the OBS, right? So people can hear me, but they couldn't hear you. So it was really, really weird. It was really weird. And I tried my best holding it together, just one person. It's really hard, Jazz, to run a show, trying to talk to people, reading the comments, and then having you DM me I want to go to bed now. It's
I didn't think it was going to come back up. So I thought, well, I might as well just go to bed then. I got nothing better to do.
Yeah. So, I mentioned before, and I guess we'll get your perspective on it. The Phil Spencer's comments hey, we're not holding you back from next gen, and the whole thing today about, hey, first party developers can choose what they want. Did you have any comments about that?
I think it just sort of, goes back to the whole thing about Phil letting developers do what they want, I don't know why everyone has to spin things and gaslight and act like they're concerned. And every time something like this comes out, the people who are scared of Xbox find a way of spinning it, and it's so weird how, like, I never see these kind of headlines coming out of the other direction. Like, you never see, like, people trying to spin anything PlayStation said is bad. It just cracks me up,
It is.
I don't know. It is what it is, though, right?
It is definitely what it is. We have Commander Shepard says, "Yay, Jez and Rand are reunited and it feels so good." Yeah, I'm happy to have Jez back, so I can kind of like do some multitasking when he talks, paying attention to what he says, but like looking at some other things because it's kind of hard to. I pay attention all the time. What are you talking about?
Is that what you do?
No, I mean, there's sometimes I need to do something like look at Twitter or read something in the chat. It's incredibly difficult to like. I need to talk and read chat and look at Twitter all at the same time while continuing on with your thought. It's very difficult. JD Gamer says, with the increase in the yield of next-gen systems, it looks like the PlayStation used the better-than-expected yields to increase the amount of units. What is the likeliness that Microsoft used it to increase the specs? Oh, yeah, so that was the other bit of PlayStation news that happened. Like, I know Jeff Keighley had his hands on with the DualShock controller, DualSense controller. I didn't watch that. Because why? Like, I don't like what I'll get my hands on with the DualSense controller when I get the system, right? But PlayStation increased. They originally reported, well, not PlayStation themselves, but Bloomberg and news outlets that originally they were going to produce 6 million by the end of March of next year, and now they're actually going to produce 9. There's a 3 million increase. And they said it was because of the increase of coronavirus, because coronavirus is driving up demand of consoles. Do you think Microsoft is using... Because he's saying you think Microsoft is using it to increase the specs, but I don't think so. I think the specs are what they are.
Yeah, the specs are pretty much what they are, I think.
Do you think Microsoft... Like, how do you think Microsoft is going to position the split, assuming Lockhart's real, between Series X and that system?
Well, they're basically different audiences, right? Like, your Xbox Series X is your hardcore console, and your Lockhart is your affordable, casual console that maybe you buy your kids, or maybe you buy for your second Xbox, or maybe if you just don't really care about having a 4K TV and pushing HDR and pushing the 120 frames per second and all that sort of stuff. Ultimately, we need to know what Lockhart's actually capable of, because it's going to have the Xbox Velocity architecture. It's going to have boosted CPU. It's probably going to have a less powerful GPU, but there's still a lot that it can do that the Xbox One X can't do. So I think a lot of the positioning will, first of all, have to come from Digital Foundry, and then it'll sort of like trickle down from there into people's interpretations of it. And then I suppose like it depends how Microsoft wants to market it, because it's not going to have a disk drive and all that sort of stuff. And also they're going to be pushing Xbox All Access really hard. And they're going to be, from what I've heard, is that these consoles are going to be a global simultaneous launch, which is something that they didn't achieve with the Xbox One. So the Xbox One came out in some regions almost a year later. But the Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S, presumably, are going to be like a global simultaneous launch with Xbox All Access too. So, get sleepy. Kind of changes the narrative a bit. But yeah, we need to know more about it, really, before we can speculate further, I think.
Fair enough. The Good Source says, hey, you did good on your own, Rand. Eagles fan 76 says, Jez needs to trademark Filmic on Houston Podcast. Yeah, you do need to trademark that. And the Itchy says, what Epic say about Hellblade 2? So Epic said that Hellblade 2 trailer was running in-game in real time, which a lot of people, I recall, saying that was completely CGI. Remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, so no, it wasn't CGI. And I'm sure we'll see more of Hellblade 2 at the July showcase. The other thing I kind of talked about, Jez, was Xbox One X and the SAD edition being discontinued officially.
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it?
Well,
I mean, that pretty much, confirms the car in my mind. I mean, if you don't have a One X and you don't have a Lockhart, then you don't have anything for that price point. Like, are you expecting people to go to the One S or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, I don't know. Like, we've been saying in the podcast, like, One X will be discontinued. I thought maybe they would keep the SAD as a viable option just so you could have, like, a 150. But they're just going to keep the One S there. Maybe because they feel like, well, they want to give at least the cheapest option to have a disc drive. And then you would have Lockhart coming in at $299 with the digital version. I mean, it just kind of all makes sense. And I know like a lot of these systems are sold out anyways because of the pandemic and everybody kind of buying up the consoles. So it's like, well, we kind of ran through the stock of the consoles we had and we weren't able to like manufacture any for the couple months. So it's like there's no point in really manufacturing anymore. So we're just going to discontinue it. So it would be weird if there is nothing to replace Xbox One X, because let's just imagine a scenario where Lockhart isn't real and Series X comes out at $500. So you're telling me Series X at $500 and the One S at $200 is your play? You're not going to have anything in between there, like no system at a price point in between those two?
That doesn't seem realistic to me.
So I'd be like, yeah, obviously I think it's going to be Series X at $500 and then Lockhart at $300. And then you're going to have the One S at the cheapest entry point, $199, $150.
And then the One S will become an xCloud box.
Yeah, xCloud box at some point. It's just a cheap entry point. So there's that. The back compat stuff, they kind of said that it's their intent, and they feel pretty good about it, that all the games on Xbox One will work at launch except for Connect. Does anybody really care that Connect games don't work?
Oh man, I am heartbroken.
Heartbroken.
The Connectors had some cool games, man. I tell you one thing, I had more fun with Connect games than I did with VR games. I'll tell you that much. I didn't have to put something. I didn't have to put something on my face to play Connect games.
Yeah,
Blue State was a good Connect game. Do you remember that? It's like a ridiculous action on-rail shooter. Like that was the only really great use of Connect. Probably there's loads of like really tiny indie games, but I don't know. I didn't hate Connect.
Artemis says, hey, any thoughts on Ubisoft saying no 4K for PS5? I think that's because I did read their statement, but then they kind of corrected themselves and they said they had nothing to say about the PS5 at the time. So we'll have to wait and see.
It was a support team user wrote that, and support team staff never have the full details.
Yeah,
I think it's just more the case that they didn't know about PlayStation. I don't think there's anything to suggest it won't be 4K.
Yeah,
basically.
Star-Lord says, hey, unless Series S has a disc drive, I guess gamers are out of luck if they own discs but want the cheaper console. What a gamble on all digital, but discs are ancient anyways, I guess. I mean, that argument does have some merit to it. Like, if you're a person who is physical and does like have games in back compat that you own on Xbox One, then yeah, like the console you're gonna have to get is Series X. I mean, I do, yeah. That is an argument you can make. That's like, oh, that's not really good. But I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, unless like Jez's sources are wrong and everybody else is wrong about Lockhart being digital, then it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, well, that's just kind of the hand you're being dealt. But all right, let me ask you this, Jez, really quick about the Series S. Now that, so 1X is gone, so nobody's going to be confused about Series X because there's not going to be a 1X on store shelves. With the 1S still being there and being manufactured as the low end point, do you think Lockhart has a different name? Do you think they still call it Xbox Series S, or do they call it something else, like Xbox Series E or Xbox Series M? or Xbox Series D?
Yeah, it probably will have a different name now, I would think. It'd probably be called, like, the Xbox Series something.
Xbox Series D, Xbox Series Digital, Xbox gives
Why?
the D to you. You know, Xbox Series E for economy. I mean, there's different there's things you
L.
can L Xbox. No, they obviously like no. If they name that Xbox Series L, they're no, I don't think so. Like that, it'd be funny.
It was Tim Dog who said he quit Twitter if they called it the Xbox Series L.
Yeah, I would quit Twitter too if they named it that. People would be going at Tim all the time.
Oh man, I don't know. I call it the Xbox Series, like, I don't know, maybe Z or Y or something. It's got to be one of those cool letters.
Cool.
The only cool letters you can call your products are S and X, really. Like, Samsung and Apple made those letters cool for some reason. So all of the letters are lame now, thanks to that.
Fume says the coalition on the Unreal livestream says Gears 5 and Series X will get PC Ultra and 50% more particles than PC. Also 120 frames per second. Why 4K on Xbox One and Xbox Series X for Far Cry 6 only? Well, we did talk about the Far Cry thing. There's a support user from Ubisoft, like Jez says. They probably doesn't have all the information. And yeah, Jez, did you hear about all the stuff that they're doing for Gears 5 for the Series X?
I didn't actually.
Yeah, basically all ultra settings from the PC version, more particles than the PC version. They're investigating 120 frames for the multiplayer.
Wow.
Sounds like a very beastly port of the game for Series X.
Well,
so.
why can't they do like a super ultra version for PC, just to see if like someone out there has got like two 2080 Ti's in SLI trying to run it or something? I don't know. It seems weird that they'd add effects just for Xbox Series X when there will be someone out there with a PC that can run that. Someone, maybe,
yeah. We mentioned a little bit earlier Xbox All Access. I think there's going to be a big thing for Xbox this year, especially with the way the economy is and people losing their jobs. Not everybody's going to be able to afford dropping, full price for these consoles. And it's essentially a program where you pay a monthly fee, you get the console, and you get 2 years of Game Pass Ultimate. And after the contract's over, you own the system. And they expanded to like Amazon and Best Buy in the United States, and Amazon's app's huge. So I think, not everyone's going to be able to spend $500 for Series X, but if you could get it down to like, hey, it's $35 or $40 a month, and then if you look at Lockhart at $300, but like you could get it for $20, I think Xbox, if they do it right, if it's people know about it as a thing, I think that could be pretty big. But we were going to talk about the game showcase predictions when the show dropped out, but I guess we'll talk about it now. Sure. Aaron Greenberg said that it's an hour long, that there's going to be no business or devices at the show. It's going to be streamed in glorious 1080p 60, none of that 30 filmic nonsense that Jez loves so much. So Microsoft is against your filmic reign of terror, Jez. They're streaming at 60 frames.
That is just mean, I think.
And the Osmond says, "Great show. Have a safe weekend, lads." Thank you very much, Osmond. So they're going against you on this one. And
oh well, I can live. I'll live, I guess.
You'll live. Yeah, you'll soon be converted to the non-filmic people out there. You'll soon be like, you know what? I can't live without 60 frames. I need it.
Oh man.
So, Jez, tell the people what they can expect to see at this game showcase.
Well, I think it's first important to know what we should not expect to see.
Okay,
and
yes,
what we shouldn't expect to see is Lockhart, Warner Brothers, any platform or business stuff. They basically confirmed that there's going to be no talk of acquisitions. It's going to be full-on, raw gameplay, trailers, reveals, and stuff like that. Phil's teased Japanese content at the show. Does that mean Elden Ring? Everyone's always talking about. Does that mean some other games? Does that mean maybe they finally got Persona on board? The game that, arbitrarily misses Xbox for some reason forever? Did they finally get some of those other games like Persona on board? It's that sort of thing, you know. Like, what happened to Final Fantasy 14 Realm Reborn? They sort of semi-announced that before, and then Square Enix walked it back, and then Xbox confirmed it in another interview, and it's like, what's going on, you know? So maybe you can expect to see something like that. We know there's going to be at least a 10-minute gameplay walkthrough of Halo Infinite. So a good chunk of the show is going to be dedicated to Halo Infinite. And if it's 10 minutes long, I would suspect that there's probably quite a lot of new mechanics to show off. And details on how the game flows and how the game plays and stuff like that. Is it going to be open world? Is it going to have like, you know, upgrade systems and stuff like that? How much of a departure from classic Halo is it going to be? Are people going to be salty about it? Because I still get DMs from people saying like, oh, will the new Halo have sprint? Like, it's such a big issue that the game has sprint to Halo fans, you know? So, like, I imagine it could be an even bigger issue if Microsoft tries to do more to change up the formula and stuff like that. We'll have to just wait and see. I hope that we'll see Hellblade. I don't think we'll see any Minecraft or Age of Empires stuff because Minecraft has its own event, and I think Age of Empires is still quite a long way away. So I'm kind of not expecting Age of Empires stuff at the show. And also, this is going to be more Xbox-oriented, and I think they want to keep sort of the PC stuff maybe to the side, maybe.
Okay.
That said, we will see Flight Simulator, I guess, briefly. I mean, there's not so much you can say about Flight Simulator. And then we've got like a whole raft of studios that could potentially show stuff off. You got Ninja Theory with Hellblade. You got Playground Games RPG team with Fable. You've got The Initiative. Will they be there? And then you've got like, you know, the smaller studios like Undead Labs, Compulsion. You know, we're going to see like at least a tease about State of Decay 3. Are we going to see, you know, Everwild from Rare? We're going to see like the next big update for Sea of Thieves riding on that massive wave. And I think people data mined the name of the next Sea of Thieves DLC as well. So, you know, the next Sea of Thieves update. So maybe that'll be there as well. And also, there's a pre-show too with Jeff Keighley, which might show off some other things like maybe indie games and stuff like that. I have no idea. You know, so you should probably check out the pre-show as well, you know.
So you think there's actually going to be stuff they're going to show during the pre-show? It's not just like Jeff Keighley, you know, talking for an hour about predictions and stuff. Like they'll actually show some things.
I think they will. I think like there'll be overspill in the. I think there'll be overspill in the pre-show. I do think that because like they usually do like their indie montage and stuff, and they do have like they did show a lot of games in May, which frankly deserve airtime. I want to know more about The Medium. I want to know more about Scorn. I want to know more about The Ascent. Maybe you put those games in the pre-show, you know, and then have like the big AAA stuff in the main show, you know. Maybe I don't know. I do think like if they have brought Jeff Keighley on board, you don't pay him because presumably he costs a lot of money. I don't think you pay him unless you've got someone to show for it. I don't think they're just paying him to talk for an hour. You know, it's there. He'll be there to present something. You know, maybe whether it's context or indie games or like some of the smaller mid-range games and stuff like that. I don't know, but I think the pre-show might probably be worth watching just because they've invested in Jeff Keighley. And God, what else? There's a lot of potential stuff that could be there. You know,
yeah. What about third parties? You expect?
I'm expecting third party. I don't know if there's going to be like world premiere
exclusive.
I don't know if we'll see like, you know, EA or someone show off a game or something, you know, because they potentially could, and I think like they know that a lot of people are going to be watching this show, more people than would have watched a Ubisoft show or an EA show and stuff like that. Maybe they thought, well, we'll get more eyeballs showing it off on the Xbox stage, you know. And you know, I keep seeing Benji Sales on Twitter talking up Halo Infinite's social media engagement. Like every time they tweet something about Halo, like Twitter blows up. People still love that franchise, man. So if you can show off your game next to Halo, you're potentially going to get more eyeballs than you would have done otherwise. So there could be big third-party games there as well, I would think. I'm just expecting a great show, man. Like an hour long. I'm going to, probably be working a lot through it, which sucks. I really miss just being able to watch these shows. But, I'm pretty hyped for it, man. I'm at like a 9 out of 10 hype level right now. And I'm just saving that one just in case, for that Xbox announcements PTSD that a lot of us have. I'm saving that one just for that. But what are you expecting to see, man?
Well, first I'm going to say shout out to Commander Seppard. He says, "Is there any way to get an Xbox 2 podcast T-shirt if there's a way possible? You're my favorite podcast. I look forward to every week." Well, that's incredible that we're your favorite podcast. I'm like humbled by that. That we have 1,600 people that tune in to listen to me and Jazz just ramble on about whatever we want to talk about. So.
You guys are awesome.
Yeah, T-shirts. We'll probably do. Like, I'm trying to get badges and stuff made for the members of the channel, so they could throw some emotes up there. We could probably make some T-shirts. Would have to get like Sean LeBrie or Colt or somebody to design some stuff or something. So that's definitely something we'll do. Bravo D3 says, anything about the skeptical linked in rumors of Quillimax? I have no idea what that means. Quillimax? Don't know what that is. Sorry, buddy. What do I expect? Well, I expect Halo Infinite to start the show. I expect about an 8 to 10 minute demo. Probably a combination of gameplay demo with the cutscene type of thing. Like, hey, here's a cutscene, now you're into gameplay. This is what it's like. I am kind of curious, because they've said, okay, Halo campaign, first look, right? But I am kind of curious if they'll mention or talk about Halo Infinite's multiplayer. And if, a big thing would be, by the way, you can play the Halo Infinite beta right now. You know what I mean?
That'd be cool.
That would be really cool. Don't know if they're going to talk about multiplayer, but they might. I do think mostly it's going to be focused on first party, and there'll be third party announcements. Like third party games, it's going to be tough. It's like, do people really want to see more Assassin's Creed Valhalla after Ubisoft just showed it at theirs and there's a 30-minute demo? Do people want to see more Cyberpunk? They've already had their event. I know these are two big games that Microsoft is marketing for, but is Xbox really going to devote more time to those two games when people already seen a lot of it, or do you just run a brand new trailer? You know what I mean? So,
yeah, I know what you mean.
The Elden Ring, people would be hyped to see because it's brand new. Maybe there's some other new third-party announcements, games that haven't been announced yet that they could show off. But this would be, I think, more focused on what Xbox First Party is doing, what the global publishing is up to. So, like I said, Halo Infinite starts it out. I would expect there to be a new trailer for Hellblade 2. Maybe a demo, maybe like a short-ish demo. I think Halo's going to be the longest demo you'll see at the show. By far. I think you might get some glimpses of a little bit longer things from, I could see Halo Infinite's trailer being a gameplay trailer where it's cut in a way where it's 30 seconds and then cut to something else where you get a sense of what the gameplay is. I expect Rare to be there with Everwild, showing that game off, and I would not be surprised if that game got a demo. But
I hope it's a survival simulator with food and crafting.
I hope you did. You would like that. But one of the things I don't want them to show, and I don't think they will, is for instance, Everwild, right? Rare's new game. I don't want them to mention Sea of Thieves. They can mention Sea of Thieves as hey, Rare worked on Sea of Thieves and we have updates coming and blah, 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 blah. But there's no reason to show it again. I don't know how many E3s they showed off Sea of Thieves. And I get it. It's it's having a great resurgence. Well, not a resurgence, but people really playing the game a lot on Steam and stuff. But I look at this as more the future of the games coming out at Series X and beyond. I don't really think, and I could be wrong, and that's just maybe the way I'm looking at it, and maybe people at Xbox are rolling their eyes when I say this. I don't think you should really focus on anything that's coming out, that's already out or about to be out. So I don't really want to see a new trailer for the next Sea of Thieves update, or a new trailer for Minecraft Dungeons DLC, or hey, Grounded is coming out next week. Here's a brand new trailer for the game preview version. You know what I mean? I don't want to see that stuff. And I don't think they'll do that. So, you know,
I think there might be a trailer for Minecraft Dungeons because there is a Minecraft Dungeons DLC coming out in September, and you know, I could see them teasing it because I don't know. That game's like there's not people like really liked it, but there's nothing to do in it right now. So I think teasing just to let people know that they're still working on it, it would be a good idea.
I mean, I'd understand it from their perspective, but as a viewer, I just don't want to see it. You know what I mean? I just don't.
I know
like,
you hate, and we all know you hate good games.
I don't. We all know you love bad games. You know.
I exclusively like good games. Actually,
the only way it's kind of like thing was like, okay, well, it could work is if like, hey, here's a quick thing about Sea of Thieves, but here's whatever Wild is. Oh, here's a quick thing about Grounded, but this is Obsidian's next RPG. That's the only way it would be, you know, somewhat acceptable, because I don't want to tune in and see a 2-minute trailer about Grounded. Like, it's already had its demo. I know you do, but I don't think most people do. I think most people want to be like,
about most people.
Well, you know what? Grounded. This is, you know, fine. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. I don't want to see this at this show. Period. End of story.
I don't like your opinion.
Well, I don't like your opinion. I don't like it. That's just me. So I think Obsidian's RPG will be there, whatever it's going to be called, whether it's a Pillars spinoff or whatever. I hope it's not. Well, it probably is, but I hope they don't call it Pillars because nobody will care. Hope it's just its own separate thing.
Pillars has a following, man. Yeah. I actually kind of hope it is Pillars because I think that's how you sell. That's how you sell a new game, is to piggyback on an existing IP.
True, and I guess it could work. I guess it all depends on how it's marketed.
I don't think it is Pillars. I don't think it is, but I wouldn't mind if it was. I think that'd be cool.
But imagine they'd also show off a Forza game, probably Motorsport 8. I would rather it be Horizon. So this is weird because like whichever one, because we both think that there's not a Forza game coming out this year, right? So, to me, there's a Forza game coming out spring of next year. So whatever game comes out, the other one's not coming out until 2022. And it's like I just can't see Forza Horizon 5 getting an extra 2 years. Because imagine Forza Horizon 4 came out in 2018. If Motorsport's 2021, that means at the earliest Forza Horizon 5 is 2022. That's a long dev cycle. That's 2 games essentially for them, because they should be having a game this year, and they should be having a game in 2022 based on their track record. But maybe they're retooling the game. Maybe they're they're trying to expand it a little bit more, because Forza Horizon 4, as great as it is, didn't really feel too much different from Forza Horizon 3. But then if Forza Horizon is next year, well, that means Motorsport 8's not until 2022, and that's a long time from Forza Motorsport 7. So I guess all I'm trying to say is I think it's Motorsport, and don't expect Horizon then for a long time, because they're definitely not launching 2 Forza games in the same year, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah, what else? I mean, there's some other, like, Compulsion's game. I know you kind of said maybe to expect that, or Undead Labs game. I'm not really expecting either of those. So I guess it really depends on how long the demos are and how many games they show from first party, how many games are there from third party, how many, global publishing deals they show, like how many, like, if do they have a deal with Dontnod for a different game, then tell me why, or do they have a deal with a different studio for another game like they did with, like, Sunset Overdrive and Rise, with Crytek and stuff like that. I would imagine we get some of that. Maybe there's some smaller games. Maybe we see Medium again. See, Indie Gamer says Forza 8 for Series X launch like Forza 4 was on Xbox One. Good graphical showpiece. No, I agree with you. Like, the Forza 8 Motorsport would probably be a great graphical, showpiece, but I just don't expect it to be there at launch. And so it all really depends. An hour long. How long are the demos? How big is third party going to be there? How many games are showing from first party? All I know is I'm really excited. I'm not tempering my expectations for this, because I just can't. Because I've been tempering my expectations for all their shows for years now. Every single
what if it's like just really bad? What if everything is a flop?
Well, then everything's a flop. And I'll be disappointed. But, like, to me, it's like if there's one show to get excited about that Xbox is doing, it's this one. It's absolutely this one. You know, like, I hate just being like, hey, don't get excited for the May event because it was, you know, whatever it was, or E3 2019, or, hey, you know what, they're not really, you know, they're holding all this stuff. Like, no, man, this is it. You want to get people excited about what you're doing, this is the time. And I know probably I should temper my expectations, but nah. I'm not. I'm getting excited for this. Stodgy Caesar says, what is Randon? Forza never releases in spring. Well, there's always a first time for everything, brother.
Yeah, I always get these messages like, oh, I think this is going to launch then because this is what they did 2 years ago. It's like, it's not how it works. They don't operate on date tradition. They do it like when it makes sense, right? So I don't think like, I think spring would be a great time for a Forza game. Like if there's nothing else in that time frame, I think the age of shuffling everything into a specific, you know, quarter in the run up to Christmas, I think that age of that is over with ongoing games and DLC updates and stuff you can do.
Yep, I agree. 100%. I 100% agree on that. We do got a comment here from Starlord14. Jez wants to see Filmic and Grounded. Here's a bag of tomatoes for you, Jez. Boo this man. I kid. Yeah, everyone should definitely boo this man. East Coast says,
I don't know. I think Grounded genuinely works better in 60 frames because those spiders in 60 frames, like, they're creepy as hell, man. They are creepy as hell. I think like if there were 30 frames, it'd be like, I kind of feel like this is more of a filmic experience. And I'm sort of immersed in the fact that this is a game. But when it's 60 and you see those legs twitching and flying around, that's spooky, man. That is spooky.
Hey, Jazz, you know what? Your boy, Jeff Keighley, tweeted out 9 minutes ago. Next Thursday, join me for a special Xbox Game Showcase pre-show on YouTube Gaming with additional world premieres live at 11 a.m. 9 minutes ago, he tweeted it out. Yep.
Does he listen to the show?
Does he listen to Xbox 2? Is Jeff Keighley listen? What up, Jeff? Big fan here. Love what you're doing with the Game Awards. Or you know what? Did you wait a minute? Did you already know about this, Jez? Are you just dropping this as a prediction, but it's already a thing you know, kind of like how I do sometimes?
No, man, no.
You guys hear that little his little voice crack there? He knew. Yeah, he coughing. Just like got a worm PC on August. that thing, that little cough.
It's just a cough, man. Just a cough.
Yeah, so they'll probably have some games. It'd be interesting what games couldn't be at the full show, but they've pushed to the pre-show. Now I got to turn into the pre-show. I wasn't really planning on it because I wasn't expecting anything new. But now if Jeff's got some world premieres, you know I'm down for world premiere exclusive, right?
World premiere exclusive.
Exclusive Xbox One, Series X, Xbox Series D, PC, Windows 10, Game Pass. xCloud.
Xbox Game Pass world premiere exclusive.
East Coast says, hey, Rand, you guys mentioned IO Interactive a lot, but Cloverl said they were in talks a while back, but supposedly never worked. It's just a studio that I know is independent. You know, obviously, like, you're only really going to buy independent studios, and that's always one that's kind of on the top of my mind. Like, hey, IO Interactive, maybe you never know what happens with them, right?
Aye.
World premiere. Yeah, world exclusive premieres. Yeah, so I think that's kind of the show. Sorry about all the tech issues with Discord. We'll take some questions, obviously. So, if you're leaving, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe button, the notification bell, all that stuff on your way out. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. If you listen to this later on Google Play and iTunes and all that stuff, we appreciate you there. It'll be up probably tomorrow, as it usually is. Sorry for, the 20 or 30 minutes there where it was just me rambling because Discord took a giant dump while we were recording. So if you guys got any questions, hit us up and we will answer them. We got one from Face already who says, do you think the articles about Xbox not having exclusives for a couple years is misleading? Well, it's misleading in the sense that there will be... okay. How do I say this? Xbox doesn't have any exclusives. There hasn't had an exclusive since 2016. Everything's on PC. I'm not one of those person that also says, hey, you know, it's in the Windows 10 store and PC, so it's the same ecosystem. So no, it's not. Microsoft hasn't had an Xbox exclusive since 2016. Usually when I talk about Xbox exclusives, I talk about things that are like first party. It's just an easy way for me to say that. When people read that and they don't really know, and they read like Xbox isn't going to have any exclusives for a couple years, they might think, oh, well, there won't be any Xbox games from first party for a couple years then.
Yeah, that's the thing that annoyed me about that headline, because that's how people are going to interpret it. Like, Microsoft isn't going to make any games for 2 years, which is just ridiculous. And I don't know if you can't. I mean, this is a whole debate, but like, Microsoft's not putting these games on any platforms they don't own. It's like they're supporting Windows, which is seeing a massive resurgence this year because of coronavirus. People are working from home. They make a lot of money from Steam, and Steam is like a pillar of why people buy Windows, especially with Apple announcing that they're moving away from Intel, effectively killing Steam on a Mac OS as well. You know, and yeah, I know there's Steam on Linux and stuff like that, but I'm saying like they support them platform. There isn't like a Linux version of Sea of Thieves, for example. There isn't a Mac OS version of Sea of Thieves, as far as I'm aware.
Hey, Aaron Greenberg just tweeted out, "Trust me, you don't want to miss this pre-show. We've been working with Jeff Keighley and our partners on some exciting reveals."
Wow.
So he's hyping it up.
That is intriguing.
Intriguing.
It's like I say, you know, you don't invest in Jeffy boy, if you're not gonna have some quality stuff in there. You know, the dude's expensive. So,
North South says, "What is the most unexpected game you think will appear?" Unexpected game I think will appear. Well, if I think it's gonna appear, wouldn't I expect it then? Right?
If we could say unexpected game we'd like to appear, that probably won't.
I would say whatever the initiative game would be, because I don't think it's going to be there. I mean, other than that, like, I don't know. There's third-party games like Batman. I wish Batman's there, but it definitely would be unexpected. Or like Rocksteady's new game or something. It's tough to say. It's tough to really say. Oh, we did mention, really quickly, what do you think is going to close the show? The game showcase. What do you think they close it with?
I think they open it with Halo, close it with Fable.
I agree. Now, okay, we know Aaron Greenberg said, no news, no business, no reveals, right? No devices or whatever. Obviously, Lockhart, no news, or, you know, the no business could be price, release date, all that stuff, like acquisitions. But what if the announcement was, we're getting rid of Xbox Live Gold? But then you would say, well, Rand, you said no business. But then I would say, yeah, so everybody's not expecting business. So then you're completely surprised when they say they removed the paywall. Boom. Done.
That would be a megaton, but I don't think.
Yeah, probably not.
It's too good to be true. I think it's maybe something I want to work towards, but I personally would not bet on that happening at this show. I would bet against that happening at the show. Sorry, Zedox.
Jazz, do you know everything that's at the show already?
No. No, I don't.
I don't know. I mean, it was very weird that you said the pre-show is going to have some games, and then 5 minutes later, Jeff Keighley, who definitely was listening to the show, is like, there'll be games. Jazz, do you already know what these games are? Are you holding out on me, buddy?
Oh, man.
I think Jez is holding out on your boy, and I have a bad back and everything.
I'm just psychic, baby.
Mighty Ryan says, Xbox exclusive means not on PlayStation. Love the show. Sin Vendetta says, Jez, did you ever check out and play Salt and Sanctuary?
Oh, man. What was that game now? Let me just Google it. I think I may have done... I'm just checking it because it does ring a bell. I think it might be one of the games I started playing, then didn't play very much of because I was busy doing other stuff. Oh, actually, no, I didn't. I didn't play this, but I wanted to. It looks really awesome. I got it mixed up with some other game. Yeah, I'm gonna put this back to the top of my, backlog, which is never extending further and further into space at this point. I still want to finish Children of Morta. I was loving that game, and then all of the games came out, and then and there's just too many games, and I blame you, Rand.
You blame me. Go ahead, blame me. Mariana
I've
Papa
actually got
says,
a code for that.
Spill the beans, guys. What do you guys know for Thursday? Love the show. Feel better, and thank you. What do I can't. I only know like one thing or a couple things right now, so it's not really like I know Halo. Obviously, we know Halo's there. Like I'm not going to say more about any of that stuff, but I'm not one who's going to leak a show. That's not me. I don't leak stuff. I'm not a leaker. I'm not even an insider either, so I don't even.
You are an insider.
No, I am not.
I love this. I love this so much. I'm not an insider because you don't want to be lumped in with those weirdos on Reset Era. Well, I'm sorry, dude. You are a classic definition of an insider.
No, that's not true.
You have inside information. That's literally what an insider is and does.
No, that's wrong. That's not true.
I'm installing Salt and Sanctuary, so thanks to whoever said that.
He's installing it now. Kits Move, shout out to the best bot. What's up, brother? He says, I don't believe Xbox and Halo launches in November at all. It's possible they launch earlier. Maybe they launch in October, which would be great. And he also says, August, Xbox Live Gold abolished. Lockhart pre-order, surprising release date of early October. Hey, I'm all for that, man. I'm all for that. That'd be pretty great. And Face wants to know, hey, what's your thoughts on the initiative devs stating both boxes are similar in power? It will come down to the tools and how devs use them.
Initiative devs said that?
I mean, I guess. I don't know. I haven't seen that myself, but I mean, there is a power difference. PlayStation has, fast SSD. I mean, it kind of the systems always come down to the devs and who's working on it and the tools used to make it. I mean, it's kind of always been the case.
Yeah, I think like it depends on the caliber of the studio. It's like when one of the reasons why I always come back to Overwatch is because the engine is just so good. Like very few shooters play this smoothly with like this good hit detection and everything. And that's one reason why I keep coming back to this game. Like it just feels so damn good. And like if you go to like another game, like this is what killed Battleborn, is that Battleborn just felt terrible when you put Battleborn side by side against Overwatch. It was like a night and day difference. And yeah, I know Battleborn had creeps on screen, and I know it had like bigger maps and stuff like that. But the fact that it was 30 frames per second and Overwatch was 60, that just killed Battleborn instantaneously for me, and a lot of other people, I guess. So it does depend on like the devs and what they do, the stuff that they're given, and we'll have to wait and see. Because like even though the PS5 is on paper less powerful, that devs like
Naughty Dog,
Santa
Monica, yeah.
and the devs who made Horizon Zero Dawn, I can't remember off the top of my head. Guerrilla, that's it. They're gonna produce amazing feats of technical wizardry with that system.
Of course.
So,
yeah.
It always boils down to the games in the end. It doesn't matter what your preference is. It doesn't matter. Like tech is cool and all that stuff, but it does always boil down to the games.
The friendly neighborhood Blue Shell says, "I don't believe you, Rand. You're an insider with a couple devil faces." Viper says, "Mech Assault would be my surprise reveal that I don't expect to be there."
Yeah, I was literally gonna say that too. Like, I don't expect we'll see Mech Assault from Microsoft in the next decade, maybe, unless there's some kind of miracle happens. And like, I moan at Phil about it all the time, and I made that whole video about it on our YouTube channel, just to sort of see what kind of interest there is out there for it. Mech Assault's a really cool franchise, but it's got all those problems and stuff. With the licensing, and Microsoft doesn't own all of it. They only own the video game rights, which limits what they can do with it, really. Which it sucks, but it's just the reality of it. So I guess we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Yeah, and Sin Vendetta says, "Awesome, thanks, Chaz. You should give your thoughts once you check it out. And Rand, you should try Salt and Sanctuary as well. You may like it." I've seen play. I don't know. I did want to play it at one point, and I'm not very interested in that game. Plus, I got Ghost of Tsushima to play, and I want to play Horizon Zero Dawn and Ratchet and Clank and some other games I have on Xbox before like all these new games start coming out.
What was that? What was that 2D Dark Souls game?
That
is it Blasphemous?
That is like, well, no, the Dark Souls game, yeah, that's Salt and Sanctuary. It's like a kind of a 2D-ish.
Oh.
Malik says, hey, I got 2 questions. Do you think we'll see Gears Tactics trailer for Series X in the show? And will Xbox get Call of Duty marketing back because the Sony Activision deal is almost done?
I think we'll see Gears Tactics maybe in the pre-show.
It's possible now that they could show stuff in the pre-show, yeah.
Yeah. I think we'll see Gears Tactics in the pre-show and see what it looks like on the X and the Xbox and stuff like that. How they're going to make it credible with the controller and all that sort of stuff. I think that's what we'll see from there.
That's the big thing. COD marketing, Jazz. People are really on about this.
Yeah,
like, who's got the marketing?
And
like, they haven't even revealed the new Call of Duty yet. It's way past due at this point. What's going on?
Well, I saw an interesting post from somewhere. I can't remember the site. But basically, someone thinks they found Call of Duty on the Microsoft Store
it's like
under a code name, the Red Door.
The Red Door, yeah.
And Microsoft and other game devs do this sometimes, where they put a game up on the Microsoft Store like for testing and stuff like that. But like to keep it secret, they give it a code name, they give it a fake gamer picture and stuff like that. But you know, there are ways to figure out what something really is and stuff like that. And a lot of people think that the Red Door is, you know, Call of Duty, basically.
Yeah. But you don't think it'll show up at this Xbox event, do you?
Don't know, man.
I guess not. I guess we'll find out. Monty wants to know, will you be live streaming the Xbox event? I won't be, no. I'll be live right after the show's over on RDX with Dealer and those guys, and then me and Jez will be on live at 3 p.m. normal time for the show that day. So I don't really like doing live reactions. I just like to enjoy the stuff on my own, and gather my own thoughts. Aquaman says, hey, will gamers on Xbox Series X be able to stream on all stream platforms now that Mixer is gone? Well, currently you can stream on Twitch on the Xbox One. I'm assuming maybe they add Facebook. You'll be able to stream to Facebook gaming. The big thing is YouTube. For whatever reason, you still can't stream to YouTube. And I've asked about that, and I've always gotten the answer, like, that's up to YouTube. Nothing, like, Microsoft isn't blocking it, so do you think we'll get you can stream from YouTube from the Xbox pretty soon here, Jez, now that Mixer's gone from Xbox, or?
Sorry, what was the question again? I was just dealing with something.
Will gamers on Xbox Series X be able to stream on all stream platforms now that Mixer's gone?
I know that a company called Lightstream is working on functionality right now. Lightstream is like a cloud-based streaming service. So you stream your game to their servers and then they push it out. There's latency associated with that, but the good thing about it is that you can you can upload your overlays into the cloud, so that you can stream from your Xbox and not have to rely on a capture card, and not have to rely on external software like OBS to have all the overlays like we've got on the podcast and stuff. So if you are interested in streaming from your console, check out Lightstream. Just Google it or whatever. And I know they're working on it now. I don't know if they have it live yet, but it's something they're working on. They're probably working on it with Microsoft and all that sort of stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if they're a company Microsoft ends up acquiring someday. But, you know,
right.
So that's Lightstream. But it is coming, but I don't know when.
Emperor Zergi says, hey, do you think Jez doesn't mind 30 frames is because he's always drunk?
I said this before, like, I just don't mind 30 frames for cinematic games. For multiplayer, for Overwatch, I want 60 or more. And like responsive games, like when I'm playing World of Warcraft, like you literally do more DPS if you're 60 frames per second because you can press more buttons and stuff like that. So, but for a cinematic game, I really don't care what the frame rate is. Just give me the best picture quality possible.
Right.
That's more immersive to me.
Commander Shepard says, being Commander Shepard, when will the remastered Mass Effect trilogy come out? September or October, I think, is a good bet for that. It's definitely coming out this year. I think end of the year, September, October. Definitely not November. I think they don't want to put it there. So one of those 2 months. Hazador, shout out to you, buddy. He says, question, Jez, is Fallout 76 worth playing on Game Pass?
Oh, man. Fallout 76 is such a weird game for me because I had like 150 hours played in that game, but I still kind of... And it's funny because I know on this podcast I've literally mocked people who have like 1,000 hours played and then say the game's bad, you know. But like I did kind of have fun with Fallout 76, but I played it like a regular Fallout game. I went through the story, I read all the notes, and you know followed the mysteries and did the quests like it was a regular Fallout game. So I played it in that way, and I got kind of addicted to it in that old school Fallout way. But if you're looking for a game that's gonna like be rewarding over long periods of time and you know play it like an MMO, it's got the worst end game I've ever seen in a sort of in one of these online sort of pseudo MMO games like Destiny stuff. Fallout 76's end game is a joke. It's garbage. So if you're gonna play it, just know that you're playing it for, and you're gonna be reading a lot because the base quest didn't have any NPCs in it. Now, I haven't played it since they added that whole Wastelanders thing and they added the NPCs, so I don't know what it's like now, to be honest. But when I played it, it was buggy, laggy, broken, more broken than Fallout New Vegas was at launch. It was just a mess, but it still had some Fallout moments in it. It's the worst Fallout game, but the worst Fallout game is still an okay game.
Still just an okay game.
Yeah.
Daniel says, is this podcast available in Spotify?
Yes, it is.
Yes, we are available on Spotify and iTunes and Google Play and SoundCloud and Podcaster and stuff. Jez puts us up everywhere. So if you guys don't want to listen on YouTube, all you got to do is really wait a day and you can listen it on whatever podcast app that you want to. Let's see. Let's see. We got, I think, one more. Realist GT says, Xbox needs its Ghost of Tsushima or Neo 2. Yeah, it did miss out on Neo 2, didn't it? Right? Or the Neo games. Those were kind of exclusive to PlayStation, even though it was like third party. Aquaman says, Pokemon Sealed Sword DLC for charity part 2. No. No. No, 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 no. No Pokemon games.
That'd be so cool though.
Yeah. Sam Tolbert says, I feel bad for whoever has COD marketing this year. That game is going to be interesting. Yeah, it's on a 2-year cycle. I would imagine the game's probably not very good. I am surprised that it's not revealed yet, to be honest with you. I'm shocked.
What if they just skip the 2-year cycle? Skip the 1-year cycle for the first time.
Would he like not have a game this holiday?
Yeah,
I'm sure Sony, like whoever has the marketing for that game, would love that, right? Not to have one of the biggest games of the year. I wonder how that would affect like sales.
What if nobody's got the marketing?
Yeah, I don't know. But I think that is going to be it for the show, guys. I think we answered all the questions, at least I can see. So, we'll be back on Thursday next week, a couple hours after the Xbox game showcase. We'll be talking about it. Slow-mo Slow-mo, shout out to you, brother. I'm liking the new thumbnails. They look a lot better than the old ones, that's for sure. If EA was doing the Mass Effect Trilogy remaster that soon, why didn't they announce it at that trash EA Play? I mean, who knows? But I would, if I was a betting man, I would bet on the game coming in September or October, 100%. If I were to make a bet, and I normally don't bet, but I would bet on right around that time frame. But who knows why EA didn't say anything? Maybe it'll show up with this Xbox thing. Maybe it shows up at Sony's thing in August. I mean, who knows? There's still more events to come, you know? They don't necessarily have to do everything in one go, right? But yeah, that's going to be the show, guys. We appreciate everyone being here. I had like 1,600 for most of the time, even though I was solo for like 30 minutes because of Discord. We'll be back Thursday, a couple hours after the show, the game showcase. Me and Jazz will give our thoughts, which is going to be pretty exciting. Am I going to be disappointed, or am I going to be like, God damn, Xbox nailed it? It's going to be one of the two, right? Because my expectations are through the roof for this one. Well, not through the roof. I think I said it was like a 9 out of 10. I'm not tempering my expectations for this. So you're either going to have really, really happy Rand or really, really depressed Rand. One of the two. and Jazz is
Hopefully
just like...
we have a fixed back Rand next week.
Yeah, hopefully fixed back Rand. God, my back is killing me. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we will see you on Thursday right after the game showcase at the regular time. Later, and keep it gaming.